Oilers without Earl Campbell. He'll be a main item today in their match against wild card contending Atlanta.
CBS presents the National Football League. Today, the Atlanta Falcons against the Houston Oilers.
It rained almost all night. It's pouring outside right now, but it doesn't matter. We're at the first of the domes, the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, for the match between the Falcons and the Oilers. The Oilers, as I mentioned before, have been under fire, particularly their head coach, Ed Viles, not only from the newspaper writers, but from the players as well. There have been a lot of quotes in the papers saying they don't agree with the offensive philosophy. Just an example of some of the things that have been said. A message from Meekin. Some of Kenny Stabler's comments about the conservative game plan. So it's been a head coach that's been beleaguered. Cleveland Bennett, the Atlanta coach, has some fears about what that might cause, however.
That's what he was telling us yesterday. So, he's afraid that this is going to provide a lot of motivation for this Oilers team, that they're going to come in sky high today and want to prove everyone wrong, that they're really a better football team than that.
John Madden, there is an Oakland Raider connection here in Houston other than you. Two of the key players, Dave Casper and Ken Stabler, of course, played for you. I know you spent some time with them yesterday and the day before. What they had to say?
They're still great players. Well, Kenny Stabler was saying, we've been a little too conservative. Earl Campbell's a great running back. We've probably been running him too much. And what we want to do tomorrow is play wide open football. Open it, and there he is right there. He said, I'll probably throw 50 passes. So that's something to look forward to. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We can look forward to the Atlanta Falcons being on offense first, as they have won the toss and chose to receive. Tony Frisch will kick off for the Oilers. Of course, the wind is not a factor, not in any way in this stadium. Yard line. The tee retriever is out very quickly. I don't know how fast he's going to go back. The offensive backs and receivers for Atlanta. Bartkowski, Kane, and Andrews, the runners. Francis and Jenkins start wide. Tight end Junior Miller, Ken Scott Van Noot, R.C. Dielman, and Warren Bryant back. Falcons first and 10 from their own 28. Bartkowski puts Junior Miller in motion. Speaking of airing things out, this is William Andrews. Almost busting out across midfield, gets to the 45. Darrell Hunt made the stop. Here's the Houston Oilers defense, as do most teams. They play a three-man front. Andy Doris, Ken Kennard, and Elvin Bethea. The linebackers, and they're good ones. Washington, Hunt, Bingham, and Brazil. And the secondary, Malign, J.C. Wilson, Stemrick, Reinfeldt, and Vernon Perry. First down Atlanta, their own 44. It'll be Andrews for a couple. Kennard, the nose man, made the tackle.
Pat, talking about that Houston Oilers defense, one strength that they've had over the years has been their defense against the run. This year, they're at the bottom of the heap. They're not playing the run as well.
Why do you think?
Well, it seems like to me that they're not stunning, that the front three aren't as active as they used to be.
Andrews got a couple, make it 2nd and 8 at the 46. Opening drive of the first quarter. Three wide receivers, Jackson, Jenkins, and Wallace Francis. Andrews runs the draw play and runs it well. Up to midfield. That was another thing. Greg Bingham made the stop. That was another thing that Cleveland Bennett felt they might be able to do is run the football.
And he said, what we're going to do is we're going to uncrank William Andrews. And when you uncrank William Andrews, that's uncranking a great running back.
Buffalo beat Washington 21-14. For those of you who watched that game, welcome to the Astrodome in Houston, where there is no score between the Atlanta Falcons and Houston Oilers. Only the 4th time these two have ever played each other. Bartkowski back on 3rd down. Throws outside. Alfred Jackson, who's having an outstanding year. Knocked out of bounds by J.C. Wilson.
J.C. Wilson was the much maligned corner that talking about earlier, I think everyone has been working on J.C. Wilson this year. You know, one thing I think that's important for Atlanta is Houston is down. They really are. They are a little demoralized, is to keep them down. Don't let them get up. Get off to a good start. Don't give them any life.
That'll really be one of the keys if Atlanta is to dominate. 1st and 10. Bartkowski will throw on first. Good protection. Tight end Junior rolls down inside the 15 to the 14. Another Falcon first down. Ted Washington hanging on.
Everyone's happy to see Junior Miller catch that ball. You talk about people that have been maligned. This guy right here is one. You know, he has a broken hand, and we can see the bandage that he has on it there. It's tough to catch a ball when you have a broken hand. I'll tell you, excuse me, but he's going to be one of the best in the league.
As you know so well, once you drop one or two, it starts to affect you not only in the hands, but in the head. 1st and 10 at the 14. Bartkowski has his two regular backs, Lynn Kane and Francis, and this will be Lynn Kane's first carry. Not much doing there. Got back to the line of scrimmage, Elvin Bethea. Boy, you've said that name many, many times over the years. Bethea, 14-year veteran.
I remember Art Shell, who was a left tackle for the Oakland Raiders, and he's a great one. He used to always say that he had more trouble with Bethea than anyone that he ever played against. He said he was so strong, and he would get underneath your shoulder pads, and you just couldn't get to him.
2nd down, they give about a half a yard loss on that one, so it'll be 2nd and 10, we'll call it. But they actually need a little bit more than 10. Bartkowski now with his 3 wide receivers set up in the game. One running back is Andrews. He looks left, throws high left. Out of bounds. Catch made by Jenkins. He might have pushed off just a little bit at the end.
It looks like he did. He looked like he tried to get that basketball-type position, you know, where he tried to get his hip between himself and the defender in there in the corner. Now, we'll see it here coming off the line. Again, Stemrick can bump the first 5 yards. It's okay. Now, watch Jenkins right at the end. See, he gets in front, and he tries to keep Stemrick to the back. He did it with his right arm a little, too.
A little air between them after he pushed. It'll be 3rd and 10 at the 14.
Push can cause air, can it?
Yes, it can. Oilers now go with 4 down the line to try to rest that passer a little bit. Bartkowski throws, has his man, Alfred Jenkins down at the 2. Vernon Perry on a tackle. But that's perhaps one of the most dangerous combinations in the NFL.
You know, you talk about guys that are playing great, having a great year. This little guy here, Alfred Jenkins, he is something special. I mean, he can catch the ball short, deep, inside, outside. Watch the rap that he took by Vernon Perry right there. Woo! In fact, that's why he's on the sideline now, I think.
Alfred asked me to say hello to his daughter and happy birthday to his daughter, Kelly. So you've got that message. 2 tight ends. There's the alignment now. That's Andrews for the touchdown for Atlanta. Good-looking drive right off the bat. William Andrews has had some problems fumbling of late. But when you run like he does, I think you have to expect that.
Now watch him as he goes through the line here. He gives those defenders nothing to hit except shoulder pads and knees. And he only weighs 197 pounds, but is he powerful?
And a good block up front by Mike Ken to open up that hole. John James will hold for Luckhurst, number 18. Left-footed soccer style is successful. And the Atlanta Falcons move out to a 7-0 lead. The Oilers were talking about airing it out. Well, the Falcons have done just that. Nobody does it better. 10:31 left in the first quarter, 7-0 Atlanta.
There is a different kind of American wagon. The 1982 Lynx from Lincoln Mercury. Lynx not only has the best fuel efficiency rating of any wagon made in America, it's the only one with both front-wheel drive for traction and four-wheel fully independent suspension for riding comfort. Lynx. Now more than ever, the world belongs to Lincoln Mercury.
If your morning shave has turned into a nightmare, gotcha. exclusive twin-action Norelco Rotatract razor. Inside, 3 floating heads. Twin-action grips and raises hair up, then razors hair off, closer than ever. For twin blade closeness without a nick or cut, the twin-action Norelco Rotatract razor, quarter rechargeable. Because for close shaves,
there's no action like twin action.
The Astrodome in Houston, Pat Summerall with John Madden. The Falcons leading the Oilers 7-0 in a very impressive opening drive. Luckhurst will kick it off. One of the reasons he stayed this year instead of Mazzetti was he kicks off so well. I'll watch him knock it about 15 yards.
You're right.
It'll be Carl Roaches at the 17. He left it on the ground for a minute, but the Oilers get it back.
That always happens, doesn't it? You're talking about the kicker, and he's going to knock one into the end zone, and he kicks it to the 17-yard line.
First down for the Oilers. Excuse me, John. Go ahead.
I was just saying, that was a great drive. That was an all-pro drive, and an Atlanta Falcon drive as we know it.
4:29, they kept the ball. Bartkowski threw it well. They caught it well. They ran well. That ought to get it done. 1st and 10 for Houston at their own 19. Kenny Stabler, the quarterback, will set that offensive lineman in just a minute. Stabler firing on 1st down. Almost picked off and almost caught. Kenny Johnson was the Atlanta defender back there. Pass intended for Kim Burrow.
Well, I know what he's thinking is they've been running so much that they have to air it out. He was going to throw a deep one right off the bat.
Burrow and the rookie Mike Holston, the wide receivers. Tim Wilson joins Earl Campbell in the backfield. Stabler, of course, the quarterback. The offensive line, Barber, Gray, Shoemaker, Carter, Fisher, and Morris Towns. It is Mike Barber, not Casper. 3 wide receivers. Set up that Stabler likes, he gives to Earl Campbell. Earl gets about 4 before Buddy Curry makes his stop, number 50.
They're really starting in a passing formation. They run both plays from the same formation. It's a 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and only 1 back in the backfield.
The Atlanta front 3, Yates, Smith, and Jeff Burrow. The linebackers, active ones, Richardson, Kuykendall, Curry, and Jim Laughlin. And the secondary, the rookie Bobby Butler, Johnson, Tom Pridemore, and Bob Glazebrook. It'll be 3rd down 6 from the 23 for the Oilers. Stabler drops. Outside, Campbell can't hang on. There is Dave Casper.
Dave Casper is a great player. He's one of the best tight ends in this league. He's been sick all week. He didn't practice yesterday. He didn't practice the day before. He has the flu, said it's in his eyes. Have you ever heard of the flu in your eyes?
That sounds serious.
He probably made it up. He's that type of guy. But, he plays better when he's sick.
And hurt.
And not feeling well in any way.
Scott Werner of the University of Georgia, playing his rookie season. Cliff Parsley back to kick for the Oilers. Started slow, but of late he's been kicking well. And continues. Werner with the good hands, handles. Down immediately. The Oilers are down quickly. Good coverage. So Atlanta will take over at their own 40-yard line, 1st and 10. Mike Holston was the first man down. Atlanta 7, Houston nothing.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of
Where'd he go?
the view.
I think he's lost.
Must
He
say
always
something
gets
more
lost.
somehow.
Hey, anybody miss me? Hang out there. You realize how long you've been gone?
What a doing?
Take a look at this.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be low and brow.
And here's to our travel agent.
Radio Shack makes Christmas dreams come true. Exciting fast-action games with electronic sound effects priced from $7.95 to $79.95. Like the electronic computerized arcade, the sports stadium, 2-player baseball, Cosmic Fireaway, Space Shot, and more. Your kids can play alone or with a friend. Challenging entertainment for kids 6 to 60. Hours of fascinating fun are waiting for you only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
You have questions. We're going after the answers on the CBS Evening News.
Well, those Jets continue to roll 25-0 over Baltimore. And they're a half game now ahead of Miami. Of course, the Dolphins play tomorrow night. Cincinnati, speaking of rolling, 41-21 final over Cleveland. Pittsburgh shut out Los Angeles. They're still in the run for a wild card spot at least. And St. Louis over New England, 27-20. The unpredictable St. Louis Cardinals. First down, Falcons at their own 40-yard line. They lead 7-0. Andrews will be the ball carrier, and William gets about 2.
It was the unpredictable St. Louis Cardinals against the unpredictable New England Patriots.
Well, that's the truth.
One of them have to win.
Hard to figure those New England's are out. There's Lehman Bennett with the headset on.
I'm sure he's happy with that first drive because when a team is down, as we said earlier, you want to keep them down. Don't give them any life, and so far this Falcon team hasn't.
Bartkowski 4 out of 5 for 63 yards in that first drive. This should be his 6th passing attempt. 2nd and 8. Now he gives to Andrews off the left side, and Andrews gets away from one tackler. First man there was Kennard. Jesse Baker made the tackle.
Kennard was a nose tackle, and he took a move to the right, and he got penetration into the backfield, but he just put his right arm up, and that's not enough to stop William Andrews. There's Kenny Stabler on the sideline. He has a headset on. No, he's not talking to me. He was talking to the coach up in the booth about what they want to do in the next drive.
It's the man who made the first hit on that last play, number 71.
So you should have had him.
Baker at the right defensive end. As the Oilers now go with that 4-man front 4. Stinsworth. Here's Bartkowski going deep, and he might have somebody. Alfred Jackson had it bounce off his hands, and Bartkowski might have hit somebody in the helmet. I think it was Stinsworth, and stunned that hand just a little bit.
Let's see if we can see it again, because that's one of the most dangerous things for a quarterback. When he steps up, and after he throws the ball, in the process of following through, if he does bang his hand, let's see it right. Ooh, no, that wasn't his hand. That was his arm got caught. That's another dangerous thing. When your arm gets caught up in that position, and you get hit right there, that can really hurt a person's throwing arm.
It can also affect his shoulder, jerk it out of joint even. Bruise it. John James to punt for Atlanta. Not one of his best. Carl Roaches will return it. And he can get it done. Roaches taken down from behind. John Mayberry was the first man down. James Mayberry, sorry. John plays baseball. Atlanta 7, Houston nothing. 7:48 left.
For the special times, for the happy times, for what's been, for what will be, for all the years and all the tears, for what you mean to me, for all you give me, a diamond, and forever I give to you.
Don't you have more than Christmas to celebrate? Give her a diamond.
Introducing another engineering wonder, the new 1982 Honda Accord. It handles better, and to use less energy, we've increased the gas mileage. We've improved the aerodynamics and made it quieter inside. We've also made it roomier. Any wonder the new Accord is so well engineered? After all, it's a Honda.
Honda, we make it simple.
Atlanta 7, Houston nothing. You see the time remaining first quarter. Atlanta defense on the field. Oilers on offense with Ken Stabler, the quarterback. Stabler. Again, they operate with 3 wide receivers. Again, Stabler looks over the middle short to Earl Campbell. He He is taken down by Fulton Kuykendall. That Atlanta defense is missing one key man.
Joel Williams, and I really think Atlanta had a great year last year. They're not having the same type of year, and Joel Williams has been having knee problems all year. He played Monday night, didn't practice all week, probably won't play today, and I think they miss him as much as anything because he was their leading sacker last year as a linebacker.
They, of course, have the reputation over recent years of doing a lot of blitzing, and that's why. Second down 8 from the 24. Stabler gives to Campbell. Campbell over the left side, hit by Don Smith. Speaking of good years and having one, 65 is having one this year.
You know, Don Smith, the nose tackle, he didn't want to play nose tackle a year ago. This year they changed the rules where those guards can't come down and block them on their knees below the waist, and he likes that position a lot more.
I can see why. Leland Bennett watching his defense on the field at the moment as Burrow and Holston come out wide to the right. And Tim Smith has just been activated, his split wide left. Stabler moves out of the pocket, throws down the middle for Burrow. Bobby Butler broke it up. Veteran Ken Burrow, the intended receiver. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Houston Oilers and the National Football League is prohibited. Again, it's Parsley back to punt for Houston. And Scott Werner back deep for Atlanta. He is number 30, of course, with the good hands. Parsley fires a rocket this time. Chases Werner back to his 27. Starts wide to the left. Cuts back up the middle. Gets back to about the 29, and that's it. Good hustle by the Oilers. A lot of folks will have to get credit for that tackle after a 47-yard punt by Parsley. Carter Hartwig, I believe, was the first man down to make contact. So we have 6:13 left in the first quarter at the Astrodome, and it's Atlanta 7, Houston nothing.
These babies cost over $300,000, and quarries are tough on their engines. So Fram designed a special double air filter to protect them. Now we've designed a double filter for cars. It's the Fram Extra Life. Inside a normal filter, outside an extra filter. It lasts 50% longer than our old Fram filter, but it doesn't cost any more. So why not get one to protect your car? It may not have cost you $300,000, but it's still a big investment.
The engineers of Mercedes-Benz have created an advanced diesel power system. Its heart, this compact turbocharger. And this system has just transformed 2 more diesels into high-performance turbo diesels. Mercedes-Benz unleashes the 300D sedan and the 300CD coupe. Now with 45% more power. The 300D sedan and the 300CD coupe. The 2 newest turbo diesels from Mercedes-Benz.
Monday, Private Benjamin's socialite parents try to get Judy booted out of camp. Then Nan's counseling session leaves Brentwood feeling under par on The Two of Us right after Private Benjamin.
Maybe it's not time to part with Bart in Green Bay. 35-23. They were down 14-0. They came back to beat Minnesota. Fourth quarter, Tampa Bay hanging tough now. 24-14 over New Orleans.
They're one of the teams that are tied with Atlanta for that 5th wild card spot. So the people in Atlanta will be watching that one too.
Bartkowski under a blitz. Throws down the middle. Complete to Wallace Francis. And he hung on. He threw a strike under duress. Mike Reinfeldt made the tackle.
That was a perfect strike. What the coverage was is that double zone where both corners rotate. The safeties work to the outside. You see the safeties up there running out? Now they're going to get right down. Wallace Francis will get right down in the middle, seeing those safeties can't get back to him until Mike Reinfeldt gets there. That's a perfect pass against that coverage.
36-yard pass completion from Bartkowski to Francis. That's the kind of year he's had. All 3 of their wide receivers have been outstanding.
He'd be mad with his name spelled that way.
That's William Andrews, I believe, yes. Swinging off the left side for about 4. Reinfeldt came up to make the initial hit again.
Now, these Atlanta receivers are always joking about everyone getting them mixed up with Alfred Jenkins Jackson, and they call Jackson Jenkins and Jenkins Jackson. We went through that in the locker room yesterday, didn't we?
I know they're all good.
Yeah. We told Alfred Jenkins, I know you. You're number 85 Jackson. He goes, no, I'm Jenkins. He's Jackson.
Well, this time Jenkins is split wide to the left. Ball given again to Andrews. Belting over the right side for, again, about 4. Jesse Baker, the first Oiler to hit him. San Francisco 7-0 over the Giants.
You know, if San Francisco wins this game today, they clinch the NFC Western Division.
San Diego 7-0 over Denver, another big matchup out west. Games, in fact, that started the same time as this one did, so we'll have running scores on them. There's Ed Files, the head coach. First year with the Oilers. It's been a difficult first year. 3rd and 2 to 26. Clock running now, just over 4 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Pitch back again to Andrews. Andrews cuts back inside. He'll have the first. Mike Reinfeldt again. The tackle.
William Andrews is something, isn't it? You know, when he takes that ball and he gets those shoulders square and turned up the field, there's really nothing there to hit. You know what he says? He says, when I run with the ball, I want to hurt that guy that's trying to tackle me. There's nothing that says he has to hurt me. I like that attitude.
That's probably why he doesn't get hurt.
That's right.
He's the attacker. Not that big either. Just about 200 pounds. Bartkowski will throw on first down. Outside over the head of Lynn Kane. Right now, to bring you up to date on other developments around the league, let's switch you to New York, to Brent Musburger.
Pat, the Green Bay Packers have knocked the Minnesota Vikings out of sole possession of first in the NFC Central. Key play here. Lindy will go to James Lofton. It's a 43-yard score. And right now, the Vikings are tied with Detroit. Tampa Bay closing in on a win, and that would leave Tampa Bay ahead by virtue of the tiebreaker. Back to you in Houston.
And Brent here in Houston. The Oilers are trailing Atlanta 7-0. Steve Bartkowski looking very sharp. To the 10 and rolls inside. It depends on where they mark it. Robert Brazil made the tackle.
Well, Lehman Bennett said, excuse me, Pat, well, that's the greatest drive stopper in the world, that holding penalty, but Lehman Bennett told us yesterday that he was going to uncrank William Andrews.
They'll bring this one back as Lynn Kane starts strolling back to the huddle.
Offense, number 66, still second down.
Gene Barth, the referee.
Let's see if we can see it on Warren Bryant there. It's right at the top of the screen. You see the right-hand side? Now look, he hits there. His right arm got up there and grabbed it. Then he tried to grab with he did grab with the left arm. That was the old double dipper. The right arm, I got you, hold you there. Then I used my left arm to hold you.
Should that be 20 yards?
20 yards. Now, those poor offensive linemen, you never hear the referee, Gene Barth, say, you know, that was a nice block they made. The only time they ever mention a name is when they catch him holding.
Bartkowski took this time out, and he comes over to talk with the assistant coaches. There's Bryant, who doesn't necessarily agree with that call. Boy, these Falcons have got two outstanding offensive tackles, not just in ability, but in size.
You see Warren Bryant there. He wore those red gloves. Look at this, San Diego 14-0 now. You know, that's one way that you get caught. Now, listen up, Warren. You see, if you don't wear red, because when that red glove gets on the white jersey, that official can see it. See, if you wore or tape those red gloves white, then when you get your hand up there, then they can't see it. See, but he saw that red glove on the white jersey. Gotta talk to these guys.
I asked you before if you didn't think that might be a little on the devious side, but I guess not. Not if you get away with it.
Go on, every unfair advantage. Yes.
Second down, 20, back at the 31-yard line. I saw that San Diego score a minute ago. Chuck Muncie has scored both touchdowns for the Chargers. Second down, 3 wide receivers for Atlanta. Bartkowski looking
right-hand side of the screen. You see Bryant blocking Doris. Now, right there, he gets inside him. And it didn't take much for Steve to go down. I think he was ready. He didn't have an opening there.
So it's third down, 24, back at the 35. A loss of 4. 2:45 left to play in the first quarter. Atlanta leading 7-0 over Houston. Houston front four stunts a little bit. Pass for Junior Miller. Knocked down by Brazil. That might get him in field goal range at least for Luckhurst.
That's what he wanted to do. I'm sure at 3rd and 24, he didn't want to take one fling into the end zone. He wanted to pick up enough to get the field goal shot, which they have right here.
Catch by Miller. Looked like his hand is improving. Mick Luckhurst, 14 out of 21 field goal attempts. Missed one extra point. 82 points on the year. This one from 36 yards out.
Left-footed soccer style kicker. What a combination.
It's good. Watch that kicker and he'll tell you right away whether it's good or not.
You're right. You don't even have to wait for the ball to get to the goalpost. Now watch, the minute he hits it here, the ball is up. By the time he looks up, he knows. Look, he's giving it the signal right there. That right arm up means it's good.
His 15th of the year. If he puts both arms up, it means it's really good.
Yeah, right arm up, head down means good, too.
10-0. Next week, CBS Sports Saturday brings you more great boxing, championship caliber. Power puncher Claude Noel defends his WBA lightweight crown for the first time against tough, young Arturo Frias. So be ringside next week, live right after the Kentucky-Ohio State NCAA basketball game on the CBS Sports Saturday. Hit from 36 yards out. Will kick in the direction of Carl Roaches and Willie Tullis. Again, he doesn't get it very deep. Tullis this time. Tullis looking for some running room. Almost had a chance to get back to the outside. Paul Davis was the Falcon who brought him to the artificial surface, which is not nearly, John, as hard as it used to be when they first built this place. It was like playing on cement.
This place used to be terrible. It was like a rock pile out there, and over the years they've changed it. And the big thing is it's not the carpet as much as the pad underneath, and they have a legitimate pad underneath it now.
The so-called eighth wonder of the world. That's what it was when it was first built. Three wide receivers again as Earl Campbell gets some blockers in front of him. And Earl gets outside the 30, maybe 32, before Buddy Curry took him down.
Yesterday, Coach Eddie Biles was telling us that they may start out throwing to establish a run. That's a little different. Usually, here people want to establish a run. I never believed you established anything. I just thought you always went for mixture. Run it sometimes, throw it sometimes. If nothing worked, kick it.
You take what they give you, don't you? If you can. Second down and 5 at the 32. Stabler again fakes the pass, gives on the draw to Campbell. Gets a couple. Fulton Kuykendall on the tackle. Buddy Curry to help. Not a first down. It'll be third, about 4. Call it 3.
You know, the first pro game that Earl Campbell played was against this Atlanta Falcon team. He wasn't very successful that day.
Third and 3 at the 34. Clock running with 45 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Atlanta leading 10-0. Fighting for a wild card spot. Depending upon what happens to San Francisco. Here's Stabler outside Campbell again. Earl swings to the outside this time and does get the order first down. Their first of the day. Bob Glazebrook knocked him out of bounds, but Big Earl cut it outside.
You don't think things are going bad here in Houston, Pat? They're starting to cheer first downs. I'll tell you, there's a great player, though. Earl Campbell. He's so big. Everything, I mean, his great big hands are like catcher's mitts. Great big arms, and, you know, his legs are like 2 tree stumps.
Big neck.
Big neck.
I guess that about covers it.
Look at those legs, though. Look from that waist down. That's where all his power comes from.
We're people like Captain Dale Silcox, bringing oil from Alaska's North Slope to the lower 48 states.
The crude I take on here at Valdez has come 800 miles through the Alaska pipeline. The tanker I command carries 500,000 barrels of it south every month, sometimes to refineries in California, but other times all the way down to a port near the Panama Canal, where it is transferred into smaller tankers that can fit through the locks.
The entire trip through the Panama Canal takes about 10 hours. Once they reach the Caribbean, they head for a Baton Rouge refinery to make their delivery. From there, riverboats take their refined product on up into the country by way of the Mississippi.
I always was fascinated by the river, and it sort of come second nature to me because my daddy was a commercial fisherman, and I just lived for the day that I could get in that boat and go across the river. I always see something new and learn something new. We unload our shipment at various points along the river. This cargo is then taken by tank trucks to our customers.
I guess I could say that I'm one of the last employees that handles the product. But it's really something to realize that oil was brought all the way from Alaska, then was made into gasoline and was delivered to this station. I just love it because it's a pretty good challenge at times.
We're more than 100,000 people working on energy. We're Exxon.
Ready to start the second quarter at the Astrodome in Houston. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Falcons leading the Oilers 10-0. And looking sharp. First down, Stabler. Earl drops the football. I think he got it back. Kenny Johnson, number 37 for the Falcons, was the defender who got there first.
You know, they're starting to stun in the interior line there, and the Falcons now on first down. Kenny Stabler came out and started passing on first down, so now the Falcons are going to some defensive line stunts. Let's see if we can watch it in here. Now watch your nose tackle. We were talking about Don Smith. Watch this. It's a cross. You see the end comes first. He loops to the outside up the field. Now that's a pass rush move. So they're starting to use pass rush stunts on first down.
Second down, 7. That's Campbell. Rolls first down to the right side of the Atlanta defense. The toughest in the NFC against the run.
You know, earlier I said that Earl Campbell played his first game as a pro against the Atlanta Falcons, and he did. Look at this move here, that little cutback. He even looks good when he stumbles. Watch that power, though. See those legs keep driving. Oh, boy, is he hard to bring down. Watch this, right through here. Heads are always up, shoulders are always square. You know, it looks like right at the end here, Pat, he may have gotten hurt because he's still down on the field.
Gained 14 yards and a first down, but he is still down, indeed. Atlanta leading by 10.
Wang announces the most important step in managing information since the computer, WangNet. WangNet is the electronic connection that gives anyone in your office any kind of information they need instantly by linking together every conceivable kind of office equipment, no matter who makes it. WangNet links you to floors below or satellites above, using just half its capacity, leaving room, of course, for Wang's next breakthrough in office automation.
I'm Joe Duncan, State Farm Agent, Cincinnati, Ohio, speaking for thousands of State Farm agents around the country. You know, there are a lot of reasons why people come to State Farm agents and stick with State Farm agents year after year. I think one of the big reasons is service. State Farm built its reputation on service. People expect it, they are paying for it, and we deliver.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Next Saturday, get into the spirit as the Kentucky Wildcats set their sights on the national title and challenge the Ohio State Buckeyes in NCAA basketball here on CBS Sports.
Earl Campbell hurt his left knee on that last play. He's on the sideline now, but we'll watch the end of it, and it's not the leg that gets tackled. We watch right here, see his right leg gets tackled or grabbed. Now watch when he takes that last step. You see, watch this one plant. Now the knee buckles. You see the knee buckle? And his left knee was injured. He's on the sideline now, but he walked off under his own power. There he is.
Ronnie Coleman and Adger Armstrong now are the two Oiler runners. Earl Campbell went out to the side.
back in. That's what that leg strength gives you. I think maybe a normal man would have been down and not come back into the game. But a guy like, look at those thighs. They're so big that those muscles hold up so much of those knee ligaments and cartilage and so on that he doesn't put a lot of pressure on the knee, maybe the way the rest of us would.
He wears extra thick and extra large thigh pads. Boy, when I say large, they got to be, don't they? Look at that. On second down, Stabler looking downfield, throwing for Pearl. Almost had it, no penalty markers down. The crowd thinks there should be. Back a few years at Raines High School in Jacksonville, Florida, they had a quarterback named Ken Burrow and a wide receiver named Harold Carmichael.
Ken Burrow was a quarterback, I didn't know that. I knew that they both played in high school together. I was thinking, what a pair of receivers.
Yeah, that was my thought. But he was the quarterback, and Carmichael was one of the wide receivers.
I wonder if there's a running quarterback or a throwing quarterback.
I think he was more of a runner. The face of Stabler. Third down. Kenny drops again.
But these penalties we're seeing right here are great drive stoppers.
Illegal use of the hands, number 74 offense. A push in the face with both hands. Still third down.
That particular pass, John, as you know perhaps better than anybody else, doesn't require a big, strong arm. It requires timing.
It requires timing in two things. You have to lead it two ways. One, to the sideline, but more important is lead it back towards the quarterback. He's a master at that.
And then you've got that receiver running away from the defender. Third down, 18 for the Oilers. Stabler back again. Being chased this time. Gets it out to Campbell. He'll get something, but not enough for Tony Frisch in a field goal, I don't believe. The Oilers... Sorry, I'm just going to identify that Laughlin made the tackle.
They did have enough on that pass that was called back. That would have been within the field goal range, and so that it wasn't a holding penalty. It was a hit in the face. They can use both hands to block with, but they can't put both hands to the face, and that was a penalty on Leon Gray.
Parsley will stand back about the midfield, right under the gondola. Warner back at the 10-yard line. Trying to kick it dead. Oilers should be able to damage it. They do. Mike Holston is the man who corrals it at the 1-yard line. And the Falcons are way back deep after a 34-yard kick by Parsley. That's a deceptive 34 yards. The Falcons will operate from their 1-yard line. 12:29 left to play in the first half. Atlanta leads 10-0.
The criteria for a compact copier of a different sort. It's here. The Canon NP210. A fixed copy board saves space. 21 letter-size copies a minute saves time. Copies up to ledger size. The Canon NP210 even has its own optional mini sorter. The economical Canon NP210. A compact copier of a different sort. Call toll-free for information or contact your authorized Canon dealer.
Here's to good friend. Beautiful. No, we were just taking a ride in the country. We are. This is the scenic route.
Boy, don't say.
Hang on, it gets better at the top. What could be better? How about the same view with the steak and the cold Lowenbrow? Yeah, better.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
All in favor of missing the next tram down?
Let it be.
Motion carried.
A stolen sports car, a beautiful co-ed, and some hired thugs give private investigators Rick and AJ all the trouble they can handle on Simon & Simon, Tuesday.
Wow. Parsley did his job kicking, and Holston did his job.
This is a planned special teams play. Mike Holston, number 84, a rookie, he runs to the outside and runs right to the goal line, you see him? And doesn't let the ball get into the end zone. He goes right to the goal line, turns back, and touches the ball down before it gets to the goal line.
First down for Atlanta. The backs about 5 yards deep in their own end zone. Ball at about the 1-foot line, and Bartkowski's going. Got him out of the hole to Alfred Jenkins. Out to the 28-yard line.
I'll tell you that Alfred Jenkins could do it. That's a big pass. And you talk about confidence. A quarterback has to have to throw from this position. You can throw from the middle of the field, the other. Look at how wide open he was. It looks like the Houston defenders just gave too much ground.
27-yard pass completion called, by the way, from the sideline, not by Bartkowski. Second quarter now at Candlestick, where San Francisco leads the Giants 7-0.
The Giants are one of those teams that are tied with Atlanta for that wild card position.
Bartkowski, Andrews. William Andrews breaking tackles. Andrews outside the 40 to the 43. Reinfeldt made the tackle, but Andrews got a first down.
I don't think this is a great running back. You watch him now. The big thing is to get into the hole quickly, get your shoulders squared. See, now right here, when he turns, and watch that power. You can't tackle him, Greg Bingham, with one arm. So you have to get, and you have to wrap your arms around him and get 2 or 3 guys in there to tackle that man.
First down, Atlanta. In 2 plays, they're out to the 44. Bartkowski goes for more. Has a man open. Win Kane. Got about 8 or 9 near a first down, but not quite. Across midfield. Penalty marker down on the way on the far side of the field. I'm not sure what it might be, but they're walking back toward the Atlanta goal line. Perhaps they were in motion.
Some illegal motion type of thing. Gene Barth will probably tell us.
I'm sure he will. All these officials have good voices, you know.
Oh, he has a great voice.
Number
Listen.
85 offense, illegal motion, still first down.
He did tell us.
Yeah, he doesn't need a microphone. Got good volume, too.
He yells.
It'll be first and 15 at the 39-yard line. Falcons back in their own territory.
The other thing, do you notice how officious they are? You know, I mean, they're very official about this thing. They never say, well, there was illegal motion, 5 yards. It's always very, illegal motion, 5 yards.
They enunciate very well. Here's Andrews on to the left side. No place to go this time. He spins around for a couple. Jesse Baker, the first man to hit him.
I remember being on the sideline when those officials would say, Madden, how would you like a 15-yard penalty? That's a ridiculous thing. I'd say, no, I'd like 3 touchdown passes, 2 field goals, 5 interceptions, and a safety.
And come back again and see me soon.
How would you like 15 yards?
Gene Barth, the referee. Second and 11 from the 43 now. Bartkowski has his 3 wide receivers in the game, and he'll go back to throw. He comes outside to Andrews. Andrews stutter steps, breaks away from a couple. About a yard shy of a first down in the grasp of Greg Bingham.
You know, this guy can really do it all. When he runs, he's one of the best runners in the league. When he goes out for a pass, he's a great receiver. Look, he had 57 receptions. And then when he blocks for Lynn Kane, he's a great blocker. I always said, if I had to start a team, and I could start it with one back, would be him right there, number 31, William Andrews.
He had on an apparatus yesterday in practice, 14-7 now, San Diego over Denver. It looked like cut off long underwear. Tampa Bay roller. Boy, that's something in FA Central. Said it kept him from stretching out too far. Protected his hamstring. He protects a first down for the Falcons and keeps the drive alive, but perhaps the ball is loose. It was loose. Reinfeldt came up with it. Ed Biles got to be a little bit happy about that. Let's see if we can see that fumble.
Again, it's right at the end. And great running backs do tend to have more fumbles than average running backs. Why? Because they have good balance and are always fighting for yards. You see what happened? Just as he made that cut, someone came in from the right side. It looked like Greg Bingham and knocked the ball out of his hands. You didn't see him coming.
Atlanta 10, Houston nothing at the Astrodome, where it's still raining outside. 10 minutes left in the first half.
There's a new Starlet here on Broadway. Introducing the 1982 Toyota Starlet. A Toyota born small to kick the gasoline habit. With more miles per gallon. More miles per gallon of gasoline than any other Toyota. The 1982 Toyota Starlet. Its mileage will light up your life. Starlet.
For the past 4 years, the Sylvania Superset has beaten RCA and Zenith in an independent test for best overall color picture.
What about Sony?
And now, for the 5th time, more people once again picked the 19-inch Sylvania Superset over RCA and Zenith for best color picture.
What about Sony?
And this year, we even tested against Sony and won. The Sylvania Superset.
At the beginning of the day, it appeared those were the wild card contenders in the NFC. Detroit 7-6, Atlanta 6-6, the Giants 6-6, and Tampa Bay 6-6. But Green Bay trounced Minnesota today, 35-23. So their record now is 6-7. You can't count them out of the possible championship in the NFC Central. Detroit is 7-6, Minnesota 7-6, and it appears that Tampa Bay will be 7-6.
Someone finally gets him out of bounds. Mike Barber.
Tom Pridemore gives the Falcons a first down about where they lost it a few minutes ago. In Houston territory at the 39. Barkowski will throw on first down. Slips down the left. Tried to get up and couldn't. Bernard made sure he stayed down.
That was one of those artificial turf trips. You know, and that does tend to happen because the artificial turf it's a carpet. Now you see, you get those shoes, you see Bartkowski's foot just gets caught up. You see him? The right foot got caught and he went down. Now, darn near fumbled, but again, the ground can't cause a fumble. The ball was dead when he went down there.
That Pridemore made a great interception Monday night, a one-hander against Minnesota. San Francisco now in front of the Giants, 14-0. Oakland 3-3 in Seattle. Receivers, Bartkowski on second down. Pass is complete to Wallace Francis. For an update, let's again send you to Brent Musburger in New York.
Hey, Pat, tell your buddy John Madden I got the big sky draw play right here. Look at this. Joe Montana gets in there behind that big burly lineman. 20 yards for a touchdown. Would you believe it, Pat? The Niners right now lead your Giants by 14. Back to Pat Summerall.
They're not my Giants when they're behind. Don't you know that?
The big sky draw play, huh? Montana ski.
Aha. I'm glad you were here to interpret what that meant.
Yeah, the big sky. Montana. You know, Brent.
That's right. He's from
Brent has a place in Montana. He has a ranch up there. He's from Montana and he has a ranch up there.
Holding against Atlanta, second and 28 from the 43 as they move back
this Alfred Jenkins. You know, he has so much life in him. He's not the biggest in the world, but he always makes big plays. Now watch, he's over here on Greg Stemrick. Stemrick is way off. Look, you can't even see him. He's 5 yards back. He gives him a little hook move, work back a little, right to the sideline. There was no one there. That's like taking candy from a baby.
24-yard gain included in that yardage figure, 62 on the day. Third down, about 4 from the 33. J.C. Wilson, I believe, or Bill Kay, one of the two. It was Kay who made the interception. And the Oilers dodge a bullet again.
Excuse me, Pat. That was Bill Kay. He's a rookie from Purdue. He's one of the players that Eddie Biles said that he wanted to see more of today. What a way to see more of him here. Bartkowski had a man open. You see him throwing right here. He's throwing to the inside. The ball bounces off his hands. And then Bill Kay is right there waiting for the interception.
31-yard interception return, and the Atlanta lead stays like it was. 10-0 in the second quarter.
In the world, it is grown in a country that is rich in tradition.
The sound of a car door shutting tells you something about the car. From these sounds, you might picture a large, solidly built limousine, perhaps a European model or an expensive American make. If you did, you're in for a pleasant surprise. Introducing the new Honda Accord 4-door sedan. It's not often you're impressed by the noise a car makes.
We make it simple.
That's the final score now, and the Buccaneers improved their record to 7-6 with that victory over New Orleans. Here it's Atlanta 10, Houston nothing. Man, who intercepted the pass. Bill Kay just sat down a minute ago, and you saw him. First down in Houston at midfield. Atlanta comes with a blitz. Stabler hangs in with the ball bobbled in for a second. Atlanta said everybody.
You know what they're doing? Atlanta usually plays run on first down. We saw the last two times that the Oilers have had the ball, they're not playing run anymore on first down. They're playing pass. And they played with a blitz on that last play.
I believe it was Fulton Kuykendall that knocked the ball down. Atlanta linebackers always very active. Richardson, Kuykendall, Curry, and Lockman. Stabler back. Again, the blitz is on. Stabler gets away from it. Mike Holston made the reception about a yard shy of a first down.
Well, Snake still has a little move in him. You know how he got the name Snake? He was in high school, and he returned a kickoff the length of the field, going back, and, reversing his field, those old things back and forth. And they said, you look like a snake running that, and he's been Snake ever since. And he had a little snake move on that last one.
He is deceptive looking, but he was quite an athlete, not just football, quite a baseball player as well.
He was drafted by the major leagues.
Third down, and the Snake gives to Earl Campbell. He might have it. It's going to be close.
That was a bad call on third and short yardage. You want to run a draw or delay type thing when they're expecting pass. Atlanta defense on that play wasn't expecting pass, although it's first down, so who knows?
When you have Earl Campbell, all of those options sort of minimized because he can get it done from any formation just about.
That's true. It would be hard not to want to give it to him, wouldn't it?
It would. I don't think anybody else has carried the ball, have they?
No, you don't need anyone else. In fact, they've been playing a lot of this formation here with him the only man in the backfield.
And three wide receivers. They blitz again. Snake has Burrow. Can't quite get the ball to him. Burrow had a stride on Kenny Johnson. But the ball was a little bit short.
And Ken is upset with that
man coming over, but I don't think he would have gotten there in time.
No, he wouldn't have. Watch it right here at the end. We'll see out there on the outside, Kenny Burrow has a step right there. The ball is thrown short, and he has to stop. Had he thrown it about 5 more yards, he would have led Burrow right into the end zone.
Second and long at the 40, second and 10, 7:09 left to play first half. Atlanta 10, Houston nothing. Stabler will throw again. And the protection holds up, and Stabler gets it out to Casper. Casper gets down to about the 35.
I'll tell you, he can still find that number 87 when he needs a pass. You know, he always did that for years with the Raiders. 2 great players, and he looks, and Casper will find a way to get open. But he had good pass protection on that. You know, the Oilers have an offensive lineman, their left tackle, Leon Gray, that I think is among the best in the league. Now watch him. He's a left tackle here, 74. You see him back up. Now he can get his hands on his guy. You see right there, he tries to cut, and he does a good job of cutting on the nose tackle, Don Smith, who's on the side.
5-yard gain, Stabler to Casper. They're at the 35. Earl Campbell, the lone running back. Earl will have the first down more. He breaks down to about the 25 before they trip him up. Fulton Kuykendall put an arm out, and Earl went down.
I don't know that an arm out has ever stopped an Earl Campbell. Oop, Seattle jumped ahead, 10-3. Yesterday, Pat, that Earl Campbell is such a good thing that once you get it going, you just keep giving it to him, and you can't overwork him.
On first down, the Oilers put in Adger Armstrong, and he goes out of the backfield. It's a pass receiver. Down to about the 20.
That's Mike Holston, number 84 there. He's a rookie starting his first game today. He had been a special teams player, you know, covering on punts, and he said that he felt that helped him get away from defensive backs and find openings more than anything. See, this is an underneath pattern. He starts up, then he comes in underneath the linebackers that are dropping deep.
Al Richardson, one of the Atlanta linebackers, was shaken up on that last play, and he's still down. There are the Atlanta medical people. 10-0 they lead.
What are we doing here? IBM. They know about computers. Well, what do they know about our business, sportswear? Probably don't even wear sports clothes. Whose idea was this anyway? Yours. That settles it. We're not going in. We're in.
Hello there. Mr.
Adams and Mr. Foster.
Sportswear?
Of course, we were expecting you.
IBM's Business Computer Centers, especially created for people with small businesses. A beginning class can help you decide how much computer power you need at prices your business can afford.
That's it. Now you're ready to track daily sales.
We teach the basics, and even the computer helps you learn how to work the computer.
Got a good thing going. Let us know if we can help in any way.
Oh, you can be sure we will.
Goodbye.
It was very enjoyable.
You're like regular people.
IBM, helping put information to work for people.
Pat Summerall with John Madden at the Astrodome in Houston, where the Falcons lead the Oilers 10-0 with 5:20 left in the first half. Stabler 9 out of 16 for 51 yards. Second down, 4 from the 20. Paul Davis, who just came in replacing Al Richardson, made the stop. But Campbell, I believe, got the first down.
He did. That time he ran from split backs. That was one of the things that Eddie Biles said early in the year that they were going to do. Then they got away from it, back to the I formation. And here it is. You see him coming all the way across the backfield. Again, following his blockers. Look at that straight arm there. Boom. He's so strong that it really takes a couple guys to bring him down. You know, I had mentioned earlier that Earl Campbell's first game was against Atlanta, and that was true. And I said he didn't have a big day. That wasn't true. He gained 136 yards, including a 73-yard touchdown. So, fair start. That's not bad. Set the record straight.
52 after play. Holston and Burrow both go out. They'll go with 2 tight ends and what amounts to 2 fullbacks, and maybe even 3. Tim Wilson, Campbell, and Adger Armstrong all in the game, and now Armstrong flanks on the left-hand side. Campbell dives to the 15 and has that first down that he needed. He needed only a foot. Fulton Kuykendall made the stop.
That's a play that's almost impossible to stop. And that's what Lehman Bennett is thinking there. There's no way we can stop Earl Campbell when he only needs a foot.
Earl over 1,000 yards again this year, leads the AFC.
I was talking to him once about running, and he says that he feels that he runs better the closer he gets to the goal line and when he's a little tired. I think he has both those ingredients now.
Stabler to throw. A lot of time for Burrow. Broken up in the end zone. Tom Pridemore again knocked it away from Burrow.
Tell you one thing, the Atlanta Falcon defense is doing a great job of pass coverage inside. But really the only success that Houston has had so far is when they would pass to the outside. I would expect that they would go back to that.
One of those comebackers to one of those wide receivers. Second down 10 at the 15-yard line. 3:47 left to play in the first half.
That's what I do, or find my tight end.
Holston, wide right. Burrow, wide left. Both backs start out of the backfield. To Burrow, it bounced. Not there. The Oilers have Gifford Nielsen as their backup quarterback again after he came off the injury list.
He threw that one a little low. Now, watch this. We see Burrow out here on Kenny Johnson. It's just a quick slant. He has it right there, and the ball is too low. No way he could do it. When he used to play for Oakland, when he'd do that, he'd come off on the sideline and say, high ball drinker, low ball thrower.
He has a reputation to uphold. Third down 10. Snake didn't throw that one too low.
No, he didn't throw that one too low, and he threw it to the outside, and that's the thing. He's been having trouble, as we said, throwing inside. Great coverage inside. He had to start working the outside, and there he did on that one, and he hit his rookie, Mike Holston. Let's see if we can see it again. Now, we see the stunt of the Atlanta defense. See, he's looking, he fades a little, and boom, a perfect throw right out there to Mike Holston. And again, he had a step in there on Bob Glazebrook, who was playing an inside technique.
Can't throw it any better than that. Tony Frisch. Gifford Nielsen holding. Block. The Falcons knock it away.
I'll tell you one thing we know about those blocked extra points. They always come back to haunt you. It doesn't seem like much, an extra point, but it really doesn't. It's usually someplace in the middle. Let's see if we can see it here again when it goes up. Right there, you can see 2 sets of hands up, and the back one, or the second one, batted it down. It looked like one of the defensive backs, Earl Jones. You see him start in the back. Now watch him jump up. Earl Jones it was. Yeah, he got both hands on it.
Talk about those extra points coming back to haunt you. We saw that happen Thursday up in Dallas. Too Tall Jones blocked that extra point by Roberto, and Dallas wound up winning 10-9.
Chicago, that's right, and that was the point that was the undoing of the Bears. You know, that's the first time that they've had an extra point blocked in 25 tries.
There is Ken Stabler, and that other fellow's a friend of yours too.
They sure are. They're talking about what they want to do. See, now, one thing about Snake, he'll listen, and he has an open mind, and he wants all the help that he can get.
Here's Frisch to kick off. Doesn't hit it just right. Reggie Smith on the return, and Reggie piles it out to about the 38, 39-yard line. Carter Hart
You know what Lehman Bennett's thinking there? You see, he just hit his right leg with that thing. He's thinking we had a chance. You know, we were up 10-0, and then we got down there and had that turnover there. We had a chance to put them away, and we're giving them life now. We got to take it away again.
Falcons have 2 timeouts left, and they have a first down at their own 39. Hand off to Lynn Kane. Swings to the outside, gets perhaps 5 yards before he's taken down by Art Stringer, number 56. There's Holston, a rookie from Morgan State who just scored the touchdown. 20-7, San Diego over Denver now.
So Indy has some little words for the audience. You know, in that play, they pulled their left guard, Atlanta did, number 70, Dave Scott, around, and he got a great block to lead Lynn Kane.
They give Kane 5. It's up to the 44, 2nd and 5. This is Andrews. Andrews maybe a yard. Art Stringer again made the tackle.
I'd like to mention those offensive linemen when they make a block or a good pass protection or something, because again, the only time you ever hear about those guys is when they have a penalty.
So it'll be 3rd 3 at the 46. Bartkowski has only 2 wide receivers. His tight end, Junior Miller, is lined up on the left side tight. Look outside, and again it's complete to Alfred Jenkins.
Huh. That's very nice. They mention you and I and our producer Bob Stena. They don't mention our director John McDonough.
Why do you get top billing?
Oh, is it? I don't know. That shouldn't be that way. Get that thing changed. Put Summerall first. You hear me? Yeah. Madden third. Put Madden at the bottom. Humphrey.
First down 10. I'm sorry, at the 43. 2:09. Clock is stopped at that point. Miller goes in motion left. Bartkowski will throw on first down. He goes deep. To Alfred Jackson. Bartkowski can throw the bomb with the best.
He can probably throw the bomb better than anyone, because the coverage really wasn't bad. The safety, Mike Reinfeld, was there. Let's watch it from the outside now. We see a different type of coverage. That's supposed to be a zone. It looked like Stemrick got fouled up. And then right over here, you see Reinfeld's coming in, and he's going to take a shot right here at getting his arm in there. He doesn't do it, and it's a touchdown by Alfred Jackson.
Jackson from Bartkowski. Right in the basket. The Falcons come roaring right back. Mick Luckhurst with John James holding. Will try to increase that lead. And he does. 17-6.
You know, we watched that touchdown to Alfred Jackson, and you know who his roommate was in college for 4 years?
Earl Campbell.
Earl Campbell. Watch him here. He was telling us about that he lived with Earl Campbell, and he always says one great one and one that they didn't know anything about. He said he never thought he'd play pro football. He said here he is.
Well, he was a defensive back at one time.
And Ray Claiborne, who was up in New England, was the offensive wide receiver. So they just switched the two of them. He became a receiver. Claiborne became a defensive back. Then Claiborne moved in with him. So it was the 3 of them. Jackson said they only talked about the 2 and him.
The amazing thing about all 3 of the Atlanta receivers, all 3 of the wide receivers, they all look so frail, but they're all so tough.
They are tough. You know, they have to be tough to survive. You take the Alfred Jenkins, he only weighs 162 pounds.
If that.
Oh, that's cheating. I mean, you have to cheat at least 5 or 10 pounds.
Mick Luckhurst will kick off. Roaches and Tullis back deep for Houston. And again, this one is fielded by a linebacker.
exclamation. What? No, he just smiled.
Harold Hunt was the returner. Maybe we ought to get him one of those Stenerud tees, or does he have one? 17-6.
For his enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Mr. Bob Lilly.
It was the greatest day of my life, the ultimate honor. After a career of 14 years as a Dallas Cowboy, being enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But there was one person who wasn't there to share that moment, and that was my dad. From the time I was 5 years old, he worked with me. His dream for me was that someday I'd play in the NFL. He couldn't run because he was partially crippled, but he passed the ball to me. He worked with me every day. Over the years, he was my coach and my greatest fan. He never missed a game until he passed away in 1971. That was the year the Cowboys made it to the Super Bowl for the first time. When you visit the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you'll see number 74, Mr. Cowboy, Bob Lilly. Behind every number, there's a story and a dream that came true. The Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Don't miss it.
The preceding message was furnished by the National Football League.
That is an old kicker, ex-kicker. What did Mick Luckhurst do wrong here?
He's got his right foot too far forward. Watch the tee go. It restricts him. He gets too far over the ball, and he just can't get it done like that.
The tee almost went as far as the ball.
So we're discussing things right now and scratching his head.
Scratching his head, saying, I don't know what happened on that one. Huh.
You should listen.
That'll tell you. Luckhurst, look up here.
1:55 in the first half. Stabler has it. Picked off by Wayne Geisen. And the Falcons are in business again.
And the fans are booing, but that ball wasn't to throw. That was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and that interception should go to one of the defensive linemen. I'm not sure who it was, but it looked like it was coming from the left side there. See if we can get it. There's a stun here. Now watch him start to throw, and the ball was tipped right there. It looks like maybe it was Jeff Merrill. That's what caused the interception. Now, someone else will get credit for it, but that credit really should go to Jeff Merrill.
There's Jeff.
See, he's telling how he did it. You see, he was telling Al Richardson, I just put both hands up, and there it was.
So it's a first down Atlanta. The Houston 42 and Bartkowski will go for more. He's 11 out of 15 already. He got more. Alfred Jenkins. And did he ever throw a strike that time?
What a combination that is. You know, he ran right by the rookie cornerback, Bill Kay. Bill Kay is playing in place of J.C. Wilson now, but Alfred Jenkins has run by a lot of them, and he's run under strikes like this from Bartkowski. But watch this one. This is a perfect throw. Now, Jenkins didn't have anything. He just runs right by. What a perfect shot.
He lit the afterburner at about the 15-yard line.
Here it is right here. We'll see. Here's a 15-yard line right there, and you're right. He put another gear on that one. And the perfect throw over his head, but over his outside shoulder.
Boy, that's beautiful to watch. James Luckhurst.
You know, not only the kickers have reactions after they make a kick, but the quarterbacks also will give you a reaction to it. Now, watch this. He steps up. He puts everything on it. Watch him. He's leading that thing. He's bouncing up a little. He sees it's a touchdown. Go ahead. Give us the thing here. Oop, that's it, huh? He said, that's the one I wanted.
That's one of your better reactions.
Kind of cool.
A minute 40 left to play in the first half, and all of a sudden, it's 24-6. Next weekend, the Sunday should start for you with the NFL today, followed by New Orleans against St. Louis, Atlanta against Tampa Bay, another big game there. Check the local listings for that. Both of those teams still alive for the wild card consideration, and perhaps in Tampa Bay's case, an FC championship. Coming up at the half, Brent Musburger and Irv Cross from our studio back in New York will let you know what's happened today.
listen to you, and you could tell them it's not the left foot you're kicking with, but it's the right foot that's getting, what, up too far and in too close?
I wonder if different color shoes has anything to do with it. He's just so restricted that he can't possibly get any power.
I mean, his right foot is too close.
You know, maybe he's doing that on purpose as you look at it, trying to keep it away from Roaches and Tullis, both of whom have returned kickoffs for touchdowns this year.
That could be, but that's a funny way to do it, though.
It sure is.
Those kickers are a little different, though. They defend it.
Well, it's a different kind of fraternity. Outside Campbell. And some information from the Atlanta folks. One of the best, in fact, in his work, Charlie Dayton, the PR man, that he is indeed trying to do that on purpose. But it is a funny way to do it.
Do you believe PR men when they talk about kickers?
I don't believe kickers when they talk about kickers.
Well, those 2 interceptions, Snake, that's what's hurting here.
Houston with 3 timeouts remaining. Atlanta took one earlier, you might recall. 2nd and 9 from the 33, 127 left in the first half. Atlanta up 24-6. Stabler will throw again. Got a man this time. Jim Smith out of bounds over in front of the Houston bench. That'll be enough for an Oiler first down. Bobby Butler, the defender.
That was one of those double zones here where they rotated. The corner was up, the safety was deep, and Stabler hit Smith right between the corner and the safety.
San Diego 20-10 over Denver, and Seattle at the half 10-3 over Oakland. The AFC West tightens up just a bit. Kansas City lost Thanksgiving Day. They're 8-5. San Diego leading at the moment. They can move into a first-place tie. Here's Earl Campbell on the screen. It's well set up. Campbell busting his way down to the 35-yard line before Bob Glazebrook made the stop.
That was a nice-looking screen. You know, as Earl Campbell comes out here, he doesn't want to get out too wide. He wants to stay with the screen. See, he starts, fakes a block, draws the line in, and then just works out here, shows his numbers to the quarterback so he can hit him, waits for his lineman, Ed Fisher, to come out to lead him, and here he goes.
Timeout for Houston. So that means they have 2 left. 1:09 left in the first period, in the second period, sorry. 2nd and 2.
Well, they need, if they're going to be in this ball game or stay in this ball game with this 1:09, they have to come up with some type of score.
Even a field goal.
Even a field goal. That's what Earl's saying. Earl's just trying to get a rest. When you work as hard as he does, any little chance you get to take a breather, you take it.
And get out of that helmet, which can get very hot.
Even though there's no sun in here, this air conditioning can get hot.
Sure can. It is, in fact. 2nd down and 3. Campbell lone setback. Falcons blitz. Penalty marker goes down. Stabler gets it out. Bill Holston, who makes the catch at the 26. Enough for another Oilers first down. Penalty flag was way downfield.
Well, you know, when that penalty comes from way downfield, that's the one that's usually on someone that's either doing something to the tight end or the tight end.
12 men in the field, defense. 12 men in the field, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Or 12 men. Now, that's not a bad defense. That's the old 4-4-4.
Not bad on offense either.
Where was that guy a few weeks ago in Detroit?
Yeah.
That's a previous foul. The foul was refused. It's a first down.
Gene Barth hasn't moved the chains. Coming up again at the half. Brendan Erb will tell you what's going on elsewhere in the NFL. Stabler has his team on the move at the 25-yard line. 1st and 10.
I'm saying if he can do it against 12, it'll be a little easier against 11.
Burrow had it. Jim Laughlin, the linebacker, closest to him. Burrow had a chance.
And there's no one that feels worse about that than Kenny Burrow. Again, all they're trying to do is pick up 5 or 10 yards. We see Burrow. He's the outside guy of the two. He drives deep, comes underneath, tries to get underneath the linebackers. He does. He waits, and the ball just went right through his hands.
Burrow goes out wide to the right with Holston this time. Holston will drop back off the line of scrimmage. And Stabler facing a blitz again, throws the submarine ball down the middle, intended for Holston. He threw that one going backwards and underarm almost.
It's like the old shortstop play. He had to do that because it was a safety blitz. The Atlanta Falcons brought 8 against them, and the Houston Oilers didn't block 2. They left 2 for Stabler.
It's a timeout situation. 2 for each team. It'll be 3rd and 10 from the 25.
I'm sure that he has plenty of time left with 52 seconds. He has his 2 timeouts. He'll be thinking in terms of getting a first down, not getting into the end zone here.
Pitch back to Earl Campbell. He can have that first down right here. Stays on his feet. Bangs around close to the 15 and very close to a first down. The Oilers will now call a timeout and have 1 left.
He was thinking about getting a first down, but I thought he'd throw for it. He said, well, I need 10 yards. I'll just pitch it to old Earl and let him run around that right end.
Stabler over the sideline to chat with Ed Biles.
Well, that brings a smile to Ed Biles' face.
I don't believe, John, I've ever seen a headset quite like that.
What's that thing up on top?
Well, it's like he pulled a hamstring in the headset.
There's an ice pack on there. That's what happens to coaches. When you don't do as well as people thought you were going to, you start wearing an ice pack on top of your headset. I think that's what it is.
Well, got to be a reason.
I'd like to hear the reason.
24-6, 45 seconds left to play in the first half. Falcons on top.
The other thing that makes you overweighted to the left, you tend to lean like this.
That's why he's got his hair parted on that side.
I've seen Stabler do this in the last 2 minutes of the half, in the last 2 minutes of the game, drive a team down. He's a master at it.
Holston and Burrow split wide to the left this time. Smith over on the right.
Like it just died on him at the end. He really didn't get that step and get the zip in it. See if we can see it here again to Mike Holston. Burrow starts from the outside. He runs in. Holston starts inside, runs out right at the top of the picture, and see the ball was just thrown short. He just didn't get enough on it. Earl Jones had good position.
Stabler now faces 2nd and 10 at the 15. 41 seconds left in the first half.
Casper in the end zone, and we still have some of that left over. Casper's on the right-hand side. He takes an outside release. He pushes up. Now he's going to come back in on an in, right in there, and you screen. You talk about guys that are strong. That man is strong. You see him bounce off after he caught it?
John, is it true he can't straighten his arms out?
No, he can't straighten his arms. His arms are in a bent position all the time. He can't extend and straighten his arms.
Nielsen holding, and Frisch gets this one high enough to get it over everybody. There is Dave. Got to be a little weak after not practicing all week and having the flu.
But he plays better that way. When he was with the Raiders and he would come in and say, I really feel good. He said, I'm going to have a bad game. I said, well, go get sick. Go think of something that hurts you. He'd say, okay, and he'd do it. So I was telling Ed Biles yesterday, he said, I don't know if Casper can play. He's sick. And I said, can play? He'll be great. He'll play the best game he's ever played for you.
And he and Stabler in conversation, not with her. Oh, what a great face.
Okay, let's get back to football, guys. We got something going here, 24-13, and the Oilers
now.
Well, we just gave Brent and Irv a highlight that they can show at halftime.
Yeah, I'm sure that one will be in there. That'll come up about a half a minute from now. 36 seconds to be exact on the scoreboard clock. The Atlanta Falcons leading 24-13. They have 2 timeouts left. Fritsch will kick it off. Reggie Smith will be back deep for the Atlanta Falcons. Reggie's an enthusiastic guy. You're only 5'4". You better be enthusiastic, I guess, in the NFL.
And fast.
And he is. From the 7. Reggie out to about the 26. Willie Tullis, the man down to tackle him.
It'll be interesting to see here, Pat, if the Falcons just try and run the clock out and go in satisfied with a 24-13 lead at halftime, or if they try and get a drive going.
The way they can throw it, and with 2 timeouts left, I'd be surprised if Lehman Bennett and Steve Bartkowski didn't try for some more.
I don't think they've stopped that Bartkowski to Jenkins combination yet.
Not very well. 14-3, you saw San Francisco over the Giants. San Diego now 27-10 over Denver. They're going to run it out. Andrews off to the left side, stopped by Jesse Baker. Clock runs now, and that will probably be the last play of the first half.
I think I'd take one shot, air it out to Alfred Jenkins or Alfred Jackson or Wallace Francis or Junior Miller or someone.
A lot of options they have.
And they've had success with it.
They're going to let it run out. That indeed is the end of the first half. Atlanta Falcons trying to stay alive and in contention for at least a wild card spot. Lead the Houston Oilers 24-13.
You know, with the wild card spot, Atlanta does have a tough time. They have to play in the road 2 games and then 1 at home. But they're the team that can do it. I mean, they've had a tough year, but they're better than that. And I think if they can keep the offense going the way they are, and if they can get their defense and Joel Williams back, I think they have as good a shot as anyone.
They play at Tampa, at Los Angeles, and at home against Cincinnati.
We want to welcome back the other group watching the Atlanta-Houston game right now. We're going to pick up our scores here in New York. The St. Louis Cardinals again over the New England Patriots, 27-20. So the Cardinals with a split personality finally win big on the road. Tampa Bay over New Orleans, 31-14. The Buccaneers have had all kinds of trouble on carpet on the road, but not today, even though Archie Manning Hardy had the Saints ahead. Then it was Doug Williams on the comeback after George Rogers got this score for the Saints. Dougie just picked it up, Irv, and he really took charge. Going to Kevin House.
Nice catch. Watch this. Great concentration right at his ankles.
Might have been a 2-hopper, huh? Here's Doug now. 2 yards, scrambling on in, and Tampa Bay led it by 3, 17-14. And after that, Doug Williams off a play fake went to Gordon Jones, 4-yard touchdown, and the Buccaneers now are tied for first with Minnesota and Detroit in the NFC Central. Cincinnati and Cleveland. And the final in that game was 41-21. Another big day by quarterback Kenny Anderson. 26 of 32 and 4 touchdowns. And Pete Johnson just keeps running them up, doesn't he? Now here's one of them. Anderson going to Chris Collinsworth. 39-yard score here for the Bengals. And Forrest Gregg has got this team moving for the playoffs. Here's the combination again. Anderson to the rookie Collinsworth. This one a 7-yarder. It was 21-0, and finally Brian Sipe got something going.
One way to get back in the game quickly with Cleveland, of course, is to come back through the air. Gets Ricky Feature there for a 30-yard touchdown.
And then it was big Pete Johnson again. 15 touchdowns on the season, and Cincinnati wins big 41-21. Los Angeles shut out by Pittsburgh 24-0. Franco Harris was the big star in that game. Franco, did they give up that easily?
To tell you the truth, no, not really. They're pretty tough, and they were hitting pretty good out there. They're a tough physical team, and even though we had some big plays, they were tough, and like they were very physical.
And then it was Franco Harris for a touchdown early. And Franco, I want you to tell us about this 51-yard run.
The play the time before that, and I really got stuck. I mean, they really hit me good on that play, and they call it again. And in my mind, I was saying, "Oh no!" But as it turned out, we just caught him in the right defense, and like the hole was there, and it was just clear sailing from there.
Big loss for the Rams. Watch Hayden pull out. 8-yard pass. Jack Ham on the interception. Ham runs it back inside the 5, but Hayden is injured trying to make the tackle. You'll see the action right here. Hayden is coming over. Banaszak on the block. Hayden leaves the game, does not return. And then Terry Bradshaw, pick it up and tell us about your TD.
It was a smash with the inside guy on a bow out and the outside guy coming in. And what they did, they blitzed the safety. And I blitz control the slot when they come with the safety blitz. And just a good catch by Swan. That wasn't a pick. If it had been a pick, we'd have been in a little tighter. Of course, we don't pick. It's illegal.
Don't count that old guy out. Those Steelers are rolling again. 24-0 on a shutout. Now, San Francisco leading the Giants 14-3. If the 49ers win it, they're going to wrap up the NFC West. Elsewhere, San Diego over Denver right now, 27-10. Chuck Muncie has scored 4 touchdowns in that game, all of them on runs. He now has 18 rushing touchdowns for the season. Seattle over Oakland. Oh, how far the Super Bowl champs have fallen now. It is 10-3 in the third quarter of that game. And Atlanta in a wild one down there. They lead Houston 24-3. Steve Bartkowski limbered up and threw a couple of 43-yard bombs. Now, for those of you who joined us late, let me quickly recap 3 scores that you might have missed. Green Bay over Minnesota, 35-23, knocks the Vikes out of sole possession of first in the NFC Central. Buffalo over Washington, 21-14, so the Bills continue to stalk now the Jets and Miami in the AFC East, and the Jets shut out the Colts 25-0, and technically now they are in first place in the AFC East. And the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Tonight at Archie Bunker's place, Stephanie's father shows up to a warm welcome. And on one day at a time, Barbara tries juggling 2 dates on the same night.
Okay, that does it. No good night kiss for you.
Then on Alice, when Vera's friend gives Mel a rubber check, she makes good by cleaning Mel's apartment. And don't miss the gala opening of the George Jefferson Museum. Then Trapper and Gonzo help a woman prisoner give birth.
No, I'm a mother. I got right.
All tonight following 60 Minutes. This is CBS.
This is the CBS News special report. From New York, here is Charles Osgood.
Good afternoon. There are several major news developments today. First, Richard Allen, President Reagan's national security advisor, announced that he's taking an administrative leave pending the investigation of his taking of money from a Japanese magazine. Bob Shackney has the latest in the Allen affair.
Richard Allen made his announcement in a televised interview program, NBC's Meet the Press.
The interest in this case has developed to an extent where great pressures have been brought to bear on the White House. In recognition of this, I have spoken with the President yesterday, requested that he grant me administrative leave until such time as the Justice Department has completed its investigation.
Allen says he expects the Justice Department investigation to vindicate him, and that he wants to return to his White House post. But Allen was unable to clear up one mystery today. Who wrote the number 10,000 on the envelope he says contained only $1,000? When he got the envelope back in January, Allen says there was no writing on it at all. Robert Shackney, CBS News, Washington.
In a crowded street in downtown Damascus, Syria, a booby-trapped car exploded today with devastating effect. 64 people killed, another 135 injured. The Syrian government blames it on a radical group called the Muslim Brotherhood. Off Catalina Island, California, actress Natalie Wood has died in what appears to be an accidental drowning. She was 43 years old. David Dow has the story.
Searchers at Catalina Island found the body of Natalie Wood floating just offshore this morning, an apparent drowning victim. She had sailed to the island with her husband, actor Robert Wagner, aboard the couple's yacht. Authorities said the actress apparently tried to return to the yacht last night, alone, in an inflatable motor launch. What happened isn't known. The boat was found afloat near the body. Today, Ms. Wood's distraught husband returned to their Beverly Hills home to receive a constant stream of mourners. The couple had been popular fixtures in Hollywood, grand marshals in the 1979 Christmas parade. As an actress, Ms. Wood rose to prominence with Miracle on 34th Street, and through the years had been nominated for 3 Academy Awards. David Dow, CBS News, Hollywood.
I'm Charles Osgood, CBS News. We'll have more on these and other developments later on the CBS Sunday Night News.
This has been a CBS News special report.
Giant crane, a tough train, steel hauler with a powerful locomotive hauling a long line of cars, steel hauler, and a giant crane that your child controls. Watch him hoist up that steel and go to it, and lower the crane, and let her go. Steel hauler, and there's more to do. Swing that boom. Unload those heavy barrels.
Now get a $5 refund direct from Tyco when you buy the steel hauler set. See TV Guide and People for details.
At JCPenney Auto Centers, we won't steer you wrong. We will steer you to the amazing JCPenney Mileage Maker XP All-Season Steel Belted Radial for great traction in any road conditions. And right now, save $40 to $100 on a set of 4. The Mileage Maker XP with the unique interlock block tread. Season in, season out. The only tire you need. Only at JCPenney.
JCPenney Auto Centers. We won't steer you wrong.
When your financial plan helps you keep up so inflation won't get you down.
You really believe in those IDS ideas.
When her hard work earns a degree, but your investments help pay for it.
You really believe in those IDS ideas.
Good money ideas from your IDS representative. When they help you reach your goals.
You really believe in those IDS ideas.
Ideas to help you manage money from IDS.
Welcome back to the Astrodome in Houston. Pat Summerall with John Madden. The Atlanta Falcons 24-13 over Houston. There is Tony Fritsch. That's a very unusual person. Number 1, he's a kicker. Number 2, he was discovered in Austria by the Dallas Cowboys kicking caravan. Tom Landry and Ermal Allen. And of course, he started off with Dallas. And he has a very unusual experience, which we talked to him about before. And here's what Tony has to say about what happened to him when he was a Cowboy.
One day I walked into a football game, and in the front of me was Rayfield Wright, 6'6", and me 5'7", and behind me was Chet Pugh, 6'6". And I walked through the gate, and the guy, he grabbed me and said, "What the hell are you doing here? You cannot sneak in here. You need a ticket for this." I said, "Wait a minute. You need me later on? Maybe I can win a game." And from this time on, you know, I already carried always a passport with me to go to the game in the case. You never know in this business with 5'7" tall only.
Tony Fritsch, age unknown, ability unquestioned.
He sure has a lot of power. This lady said he carries his passport with him. I wonder if he meant his pass, his game pass. I used to always wear it on the sideline for the same reason. They wouldn't believe I was a coach either.
Oh, why not?
I know, looking at that guy, he doesn't belong here.
And I confirmed something, John, at the half. doesn't kick it deep. Back to Tullis and Roaches. Let's see if he still does it.
Probably why he was smiling.
I guess. Yes, he does it again. That's Tim Wilson who returns the kick. Lyman White was down to hit him first. Falcons thought they might have had a shot at that one.
Look at this, the average yards on first down. Atlanta has averaged 12.3 per play on first down, and Houston only 2.6. And that is usually an indicator of who's winning the game.
It makes things a lot easier if you get a first down, or if you average a first down plus on every first down, doesn't it?
Well, you don't get no second and long and third and long, which are really tough in today's football.
Oilers open with 3 wide receivers, 1 lone running back, Earl Campbell. Stabler looking for Casper, got it. And big, strong Dave Casper. They got him, but they had a tough time getting him down. Al Richardson, the first man over there.
They never did get him down until after the whistle blew. That was the other thing that I liked about Dave Casper. We used to tell him, get the ball, get in the open field, and take off like a runaway freight. And I'll tell you, he can do that. Watch, it's a little check out to the right. He throws it, now watch him turn up. Boom, keep going, Dave. Head up, keep those legs driving. That's it. Watch him. They still hit him all over. They still have a heck of a time getting him down.
Now he's limping a little bit. Why did the Raiders get rid of him, John?
I'm not sure. I think they did get the 2 firsts and a second for him, and that's probably the reason. I'm sure they didn't want to.
Earl Campbell, stopped by Jeff Yates, but Earl is very close to a first down. And from the reaction of the crowd, and now the referee, he does have it. Opening seconds of the third quarter, with Atlanta leading here 24-13. Seattle leading there 17-3.
And maybe there they wouldn't mind having Casper back.
I would think anybody would like to have a man of that desire and ability. Ken Stabler, first and 10 at the 40. Stabler gives Campbell again. He breaks one of his offensive guards. Shifts to his left and picks up about 8. Al Richardson made the tackle. But Campbell looks like he got some rest at the half.
See how those arms are? You see how they're turned in like that? They're always that way. They can't straighten. He can't straighten his arms. When his first child was born, it was a daughter. He went to the hospital, and the first thing that he wanted to check was if she had straight arms or not.
It's not done. It's not because of an injury then.
No. He was born that way.
Second down and 4 at the 47. It'll be Earl Campbell again. Earl gets outside midfield, very close to a first. Fulton Kuykendall on the bottom of the pile. He did get the first. And now Seattle has scored again. They lead 24-3. Here's Dave.
See those crooked arms he has? He's straight. They don't straighten. They're in the bent position. Anyway, he had the doctor check, and the doctor said, I can't check yet. She's still in the fetal position.
Casper limped off, and then he's back not limping. Stabler appears to be calling an audible. On first, he throws back to Campbell. They swarm on him in a hurry. Jeff Murrow led the defense. Kuykendall again came in to help out.
They're talking about leading the defense. I think that as far as swarming a running play, getting a lot of red jerseys to the run, I think Atlanta is probably the best in the National Football League.
Well, we saw a couple of college teams with swarming defenses yesterday, didn't we? Atlanta and Auburn. I know you know Bear Bryant, and we'd like to extend our congratulations to him, too.
I'll tell you, what a great coach he is and a great person. I know when I first started coaching, I used to love to listen to Bear Bryant speak at clinics.
Second and 13 from the 48. Campbell again on the draw. And nothing doing. He didn't get back to where the first down marker was originally. Jeff Yates and Kuykendall again lead the defensive charge.
And the fans are starting to boo. I think they think that they're going to that draw or delay to Campbell a little too much, and I may agree with them.
Well, they had said they might throw it 50 times today. Open it up a little bit. They better start. Well, they threw it 27 times in the first half. Stabler did, 15 out of 27. And he is starting. And going. Kenny Johnson, the defender. Pass was now called incomplete as Burrow came down out of bounds.
It must have been because Kenny Johnson really had great coverage on him. The ball was a little short. Let's watch it. Burrow, number 00, is the outside man there. Kenny Johnson is running step for step with him. Now watch, Johnson is watching Burrow. Burrow's watching the ball. Johnson looks up. Burrow comes back underneath. But watch that left foot hit out of bounds.
Scott Warner back deep now as Parsley will punt. Hangs it high. Good kick from that part of the field. Warner coming over to catch it. And handles at the 20 and handles it well, and that's why he's there. Very rarely does he ever drop it. So Atlanta will take over with their first offensive effort of the second half. They lead Houston 24-13 in the third. They'll have the ball at their own 21.
You're looking at a remarkable new V8 power system for 1982, and only Cadillac has it. HT4100 with digital fuel injection, 4-speed automatic overdrive, and V8 smoothness. The new HT4100 is standard on Fleetwood Bromes and DeVilles, the front-wheel drive Eldorado, and the top-of-our-line Seville. Whichever model you choose.
I'll tell you, we never realized golf was such a tough game.
Hey, it's a lot easier hitting a quarterback than a little white ball. So us Linksters drink light beer from Miller.
Not just because light tastes great, but because it's got a third less calories.
Feeling under par on the two of us right after Private Benjamin.
At the Astrodome in Houston, Pat Summerall with the man who won Super Bowl 11 as the coach of the Oakland Raiders, John Madden. Here's William Andrews, one of John's favorite players.
He is. I really enjoy watching him play, and I enjoy talking to him. And he's a type of player that this is all about. Someone who plays football, and he loves it. He really enjoys playing. He has a lot of spirit and life in him. And I'll tell you, that guy we're seeing there, 78, Mike Kent, he does a great job of blocking. I couldn't get 78 out of him.
Second and 6. At the 25. Junior Miller goes in motion. And now it's Lynn Kane in motion. Just briefly. Kennard. First man to make contact. Was it Kane or Andrews? It was Andrews, wasn't it? It was Kane, the ball carrier, and Andrews, the blocker.
We talk, excuse me.
I'm just going to say 31 and 21 sometimes look alike. Not an excuse.
we were talking about the swarming of the Atlanta defense, but this Houston defense also is swarming.
3 wide receivers. 4 down linemen for Houston. Markowski has Miller, and Miller with a lot of room. Junior Miller puts it in Houston territory.
You talk about a tight end that runs like a runaway freight train. Watch Junior Miller here. He runs it in. We see it right in the middle of the screen. Catches the ball. Geez, that was a great catch and concentration. Watch him turn upfield. There is someone that isn't much fun to tackle, and Mike Reinfeld took the low angle, which was smart. Now watch the blocking here by Mike Kemp, the left tackle, 78. It's a style
count and went early.
Looks like a whole bunch of them went early, but I'm sure you're right. Once those offensive linemen get set in that three-point stance, they can't move. The defense can move and jump back. The offense can't move.
Ball start. 66 offense. Still second down.
Orange Bryant is the man they blamed.
You don't miss one of those guys back.
I want to give them all credit and all recognition. They got the toughest job, certainly one of the toughest in football. Three wide receivers again. Draw play. Andrews and nothing doing. Maybe he struggled for one. Greg Bingham, who is the Oilers' leading tackler this year, is the man who made the tackle.
Play isn't working for the Oilers either. I mean, the Falcons, the Oilers have both tried that unsuccessfully, that draw play on second and long, and the defense just isn't buying it today.
Right now it's 3rd and long. 3rd and 7 at the 45. 7:45 left to play third quarter. 24-13 Atlanta. Blitz coming. Quickly out to Francis. And Francis breaks away from 2 or 3 and struggles for the first. Good individual effort. Carter Hartwig finally got him down.
It was a great effort here by Wallace Francis. Now watch Bartkowski here. It's a blitz. He sees that he has to get rid of the ball quick. Right timing, right in there to Wallace Francis. He doesn't have the first down yet. He keeps going. You see that red marker over there? He looks at it, and then this next fall right there will get him up for the first down. Boom!
All the way down to the 37. 1st and 10 Atlanta. Falcons with a tough road ahead of them, but it's all in their hands. Can't find any place to go. Robert Brazil from the other side, Jesse Baker from the strong side, and they throw him back. Kane has been bothered by a pulled hamstring, and he doesn't look quite as sharp as he has sometimes we've seen him.
No, he doesn't, because when he's running, he'll take a play like that and slide and find a soft spot and pick up 4 or 5 yards. On that one, the right side of the Falcon offense allowed penetration. There was really no place for him to go.
4-yard loss. Kane comes out. Alfred Jackson checks in. Jackson comes out to the left. Francis and Jenkins to the right. Handoff with him, Andrews. And he roars. Not a draw play this time. No delay. He roars down inside the 30.
He was the only back in the backfield. He ran a little counter play there, and that right side did the job of blocking. Watch the right side there. They turn him out. They just give William Andrews enough to get in there, and he picks up a bunch and puts him in a 3rd and 3 situation.
Key blocked by the veteran center Jeff Van Note up front. Andrews 73 yards, 16 carries. Headed for another 1,000-yard year. 3rd down, 3 at the 30. Andrews. Kennard threw him back. Luckhurst and James come on. James the holder, Luckhurst the kicker.
We saw Jeff Van Note, number 57, standing there, and he was the man that didn't get Ken Kennard blocked. He didn't get any movement there in the middle.
Luckhurst from 46.5 yards out. Probably give him 47.
He's 3 for 6 in this area between 40 and 49 yards.
Going to be 4 for 7, it looks like. No. Wide to the right. He had the distance. Just a little off with his aim. And so the score remains 24-13 Atlanta with 4:43 left in the 3rd quarter.
Seems it's always been like this. The last car in the lot has been yours. And now all that hard work And all those long hours have paid off in recognition, in financial success, and in the way you reward yourself. Isn't it time you owned a Cadillac? After all, who deserves one more than you?
Radio Shack makes Christmas dreams come true. Perfect for your little fireman or policeman. Our fire helmet or road patrol helmet for only $7.99. And to make the dream complete, an exciting battery-powered safe police car or fire engine for only $6.99. Easily programmed for 6 driving maneuvers, including straight, zigzag, circle, or square. Clever gifts for your kids at affordable prices. Only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
Houston ball, first and 10 at the 29. Falcons leading 24-13. Sort of quiet at the moment. And a throw it away. Snake was under pressure. Had to run out of the pocket. Tim Smith was the Oiler closest.
The tough thing about this one here, we'll see him come back. Now, he had 3 receivers to his left out here. See, he's looking there. Now, when he has to run to escape to this side, he only has 1 receiver. Wasn't open, so he just threw it away.
And that will make it second and 10. For the quarterback with the highest completion average ever in the NFL over his career. Stabler, Casper, the intended receiver. Blaine Geisen almost picked it off.
That was about as close as you can come to an interception without having it. Again, he doesn't look like on some of his passes that he's stepping with his right foot and his right, his lead foot, and he's not getting as much on the ball as he once did.
You think missing training camp might have affected him?
Oh, I'm sure it did. There's no way that you can miss training camp and be the same football player, but there's no one that realizes it as much as Ken Stabler does.
16 of 31, but not many yards. Now Richardson takes down Stabler. And the Oilers will have to punt. Not much he could do about that.
Not much, unless he had a little talk with Earl Campbell. I think Earl Campbell was the man. We'll see it right here on the left of the screen. Richardson is coming from the outside. Now see Campbell set to block him. He gives him a little fake. He misses him. He says, "Look out, Snake!" Too late, Earl. You got to block him.
That's a good move by Richardson.
It was a good move. Earl Campbell wasn't ready for it.
Scott Warner back deep for Atlanta. Cliff Parsley will kick for Houston. Doesn't turn over like he'd like for it to. Warner will field it. And immediately, Carter Hartwig again as the first man down. 38-yard kick by Parsley. And the Falcons will take over with 3:50 left in the third quarter. They lead 24-13.
As soon as you settle into the leather-trimmed bucket seat and shift into first, Cimarron is a new kind of Cadillac for a new kind of Cadillac owner with front-wheel drive, rack and pinion steering, and Cadillac's exclusively tuned touring suspension, plus the best mileage estimates in Cadillac history. Cimarron, now at all Cadillac dealers.
Best of all, it's my Cadillac.
Normally, when trees are grown and replanted, there's only a 50% survival rate. But with these trees, there's a 95% survival rate. Because these trees are grown underground in an environment that's ideal for plant growth. And an essential part of that environment are special Sylvania lights, which help the young trees thrive.
Gee.
No, GTE.
A stolen sports car, a beautiful co-ed, and some hired thugs give private investigators Rick and AJ all the trouble they can handle on Simon & Simon, Tuesday.
Wow! That's the story at the moment. Atlanta with an
successfully, and that's very important, you know, and this is how he's matured, to be able to see the different defenses. We see the linebackers coming. He knows it's a blitz. He knows he has man-to-man coverage. He sees Lynn Kane on Robert Brazil. He has a step, boom, he hits him, and then Kane gets the first down. He sees very well.
First at the 28 out of Houston. Atlanta has been able to move pretty well. Here is Andrews. Speaking of moving pretty well. Slammed backwards after he got to the 25 by Darrell Hunt.
I'll tell you, there's a real good battle going on in there in the middle between Jeff Van Note and Ken Kennard. And a lot of the Falcons' success will be, watch him here in the middle. You see Van Note fire out on Kennard, get him turned to the outside, get him turned to the right because they want to run back to the left. If you can handle the nose tackle in a three-man line, you're always going to gain some yardage.
Kennard goes out now for a little rest. Mike Stensrud coming out as the Oilers now go with a four-man front. Jesse Baker's in there as well. Pitch back to Andrews. Earls down inside the 25 to about the 23 before Andy Doris made the tackle. Andrews a little slow in getting up now.
You know, we've seen a lot of great backs. Look at this score. Oakland must have gotten a safety there.
24-5, third quarter.
But they all have that same move that we just saw William Andrews make. Walter Payton has it. Tony Dorsett has it. Wilbert Montgomery has it. Otis Anderson has it. Where they take that long step to the side and then the next step up the field.
Got to have good knees to be able to do that. Third down. Barkowski, I think, will have to throw it. Francis goes in motion to the right. He will throw. To Andrews, who fumbled. Rolling around in the end zone, it's an Atlanta touchdown as Alfred Jackson came up with it. Barkowski really hummed that one.
Steve Barkowski was just shaking his head. He said, we needed that one. William Andrews got open, and then he fumbled in the end zone. Now, what the officials are saying, see, in the last 2 minutes, if this were to happen, only William Andrews could recover. But since it's it's not the last 2 minutes, Alfred Jackson can. Now, watch his shot. What a great throw it was. Andrews looks like he relaxed a little too much just before he was hit by Carter Hartwig, and there was Alfred Jackson to pick up the touchdown.
And what a recovery. Sliding on the ground, he just reached out as far as he could reach and came up with it. Luckhurst with James, the holder. Luckhurst hits. It's 31-13 now, Atlanta. Still another quarter to go. 1:23 left to play in the third quarter. Atlanta Falcons devastating in the air. They lead Houston 31-13.
Instead of moving down to get better mileage, maybe you should move up to Cadillac. A 1982 V8 diesel-powered Cadillac, a Fleetwood Brougham, or a DeVille, an Eldorado, or a Seville. You don't have to give up room and comfort like this to get good mileage. The V8 diesel-powered Cadillacs, whichever model you choose.
Posing for Olympus, professional model Cheryl Teagues. 5 amateur photographers behind the Olympus OM10 for the first time. OM10, the 35mm automatic that leaves nothing to chance, leaves you free to focus and shoot. And look, the actual pictures these 5 amateurs took. All 100 of them taken with the Olympus OM10.
They're incredible.
Well, you can't take a bad picture, Cheryl.
Neither can you with Olympus OM10.
31-13 Atlanta. They got 31 on Monday. They've got 31 today. 62 points in a week. Again, Luckhurst doesn't go too deep. This is Willie Tullis, however. Tullis dragged down at the 30 by Tony Dakin. The Atlanta scoring drive, quickly done. 56 yards in 4 plays. 2 minutes, 27 seconds. Don't forget, CBS Sports Saturday next weekend, the WBA Lightweight Championship. Claude Noel against Arturo Frias from Las Vegas. Frias' record, by the way, according to Ring Magazine, is 22-1. That'll be next week on Sports Saturday. Tim Wilson and Earl Campbell. The two setbacks. Stabler outside Burrow. I'm sorry, Holston. They look alike. Bob Glazebrook made the tackle shy of a first down.
I think that last drive in Atlanta's touchdown was a great drive by Steve Bartkowski. I mean, he was just perfect on that drive, and I think they needed that one to put this game away. And, you know, they may be, right now, those teams that are tied, and this man's going to be very important in this drive, but they may be the team that is the hottest and has the most momentum going.
As we said before, they have a tough schedule ahead. At Tampa, Los Angeles, and Cincinnati. And here's Campbell hit down hard by Jeff Merle. Earl is really popped by Jeff Merle.
And Jeff Merrill really got popped by his teammates. They're saying, good play, Jeff. But, you know, I think we talked about Joel Williams, but when Joel Williams got hurt, this man got hurt too, Jeff Merrill, and they're the right side of that Falcon defense, and I think the problems they've had this year, I think, are caused a lot by missing those two guys playing side by side.
Trying to go 7-6, and they'll have one more quarter in which to accomplish that. So it's Atlanta 31, Houston 13. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. As we said, Atlanta 31-13.
Gramp, I'm here to help you install your garage door opener.
I did it myself, son. It's a Stanley.
Hey, Dad, thanks for the garage door opener.
I'll show you how to put it up.
Oh, we did it this morning.
Stanley. Harry. Oh, happy birthday, dear.
You did it yourself.
It's Stanley.
We wanna help you do things right.
This Christmas, open the door for someone you love. Give a Stanley garage door opener.
Excuse me. I'm not the same crazy coach who used to storm around the sidelines yelling at the officials. I've learned to relax, and I drink light beer from Miller. Do you know that Light's got a third less calories than their regular beer? And listen to this. Light doesn't fill me up. Besides that, Light tastes fantastic. Oh, sure, there are a lot of other beers around, and you can drink any one you want. But let me tell you this.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As I was saying, I don't care what anybody else...
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer, who invite you to test drive the 1982 Ford cars and trucks. Atari. And by today's Army. Join the people who join the Army.
At the Astrodome in Houston. Atlanta 31, Houston 13. One more quarter to play. Houston has the football, 3rd and 5 at their own 35. Stabler's sidearm pass intended for Tim Wilson, knocked down at the last second by Buddy Curry. Gets his teammates congratulations.
I'll tell you, that linebacking group is very active, even though they don't have Joel Williams. But those two guys on the inside, Fulton Kuykendall and Buddy Curry, seem to be all over the field on both run and pass.
Scott Werner back deep. That's Cliff Parsley, of course, who is the Houston punter. His average today, 37-4, below his season average. Scott Werner back deep for Atlanta. Parsley doesn't quite get this one to turn over either. Warner signal for Bearcats, takes it. Falcons will operate from their own 30. We'll be back with more of the Houston-Atlanta game after we hear this word from your local station.
Monday, Private Benjamin's socialite parents try to get Judy booted out of camp. Then Nan's counseling session leaves Brentwood feeling under par on The Two of Us right after Private Benjamin.
This is CBS.
And 10 from the 30 for Atlanta. Their first possession in the fourth quarter. Seattle now leading Oakland 24-11. It's Andrews. Andrews barrels out for about 5, stopped by Darrell Hunt. Andrews should be getting to the point where he can challenge 100 yards on the day.
Well, he had 76 going into that play. But look at this first down thing. This really tells a story. Atlanta has averaged over 10 yards per play on first down. Houston only 2.4, and that's where Houston's having their trouble, those long yardage situations. Maybe Gifford Nielsen's getting ready to come in.
Andrews got 5, so he's now got 81 for the day. He's had a phenomenal day. Greg Bingham tackled Lynn Kane. Bartkowski's got the size. He now has the confidence. He's always had the ability, and he can get it done.
He looks as good today as I've ever seen him. He's doing it all. He's throwing against the blitz. He's hitting his backs. He's hitting his tight end. He's throwing deep to his wide receivers. He's doing everything today that a great quarterback does.
He has completed 10 in a row. That's how well he's doing it. He had a hot hand on Monday night, too. He gives to Andrews. And Williams doesn't get knocked back very much, does he? Darrell Hunt made a stop.
And I'll tell you, this is a type of situation where guys like William Andrews will gain a lot of yards. I'm sure he'll go over 100 yards today because they're wearing the Houston Oilers defense down. The defense is starting to get a little tired. They're a half a step slow. And when you get a half a step slow on a guy like this, he's going to get a lot of yards on you.
Francis out to the left. Jenkins to the right. 2nd and 6. They got back. Here's Kane this time. And Kane lowers his shoulder and nudges it out to midfield. It'll be a 3rd down, about 2 for Atlanta.
What a combination of running backs these guys are. You know, they're really unselfish people. They both run well. They both block well for each other. They both catch the pass. When they do catch a pass, they can still run with it. I think that's a great combination.
Can't key on either one of them, that's for sure.
No, and then you add Junior Miller as the tight end, and you add Alfred Jenkins and Wallace Francis and Alfred Jackson. They really have a lot of weapons on offense.
And they have a man who can get it to those people. Bartkowski back to Kane. Kane has the first down and more. Cuts back to about the 43. Art Stringer, number 56 for Houston, made the tackle. Pat Howell, the offensive left guard, got the good block in front.
The other good block was done by James Mayberry, who was in there on that play for William Andrews.
Andrews is back now. They were operating with their 2 tight end offense. Miller, the tight end, on the left. J.C. Wilson back there with him.
Steve Bartkowski is smiling on that one. It was a great adjustment by Jenkins. It really was. You know, the other thing that these guys do well, these running backs, is they catch a ball and they also block well on pass protection, which is very important for a back. Now watch Lynn Kane here, number 21. No, excuse me, that's Andrews out there. You see they fake to him, and then he has to pick up the linebacker and drive him to the outside.
Bartkowski has completed 18 out of 23 passes for 372 yards.
Good day's work,
I'll say. Andrews to the outside, and again picks up about 5 yards just by lowering his shoulder and turning squarely upfield. Brazil made the stop.
That's over there behind Dave Scott and Mike Kent. See, it's a little draw or delay. You see Kent, he's trying to turn his guy to the outside. He can't do it. So Andrews just brings in, holds him a little, and then makes that jump out to the left.
5 yards to the 37-yard line of Houston. Miller comes out. Wallace Francis goes in. And Francis and Jackson split wide to the right. Jenkins over on the left side. Dangerous people. Bartkowski will throw on third and can hit somebody in the head. Jackson back there with J.C. Wilson, and it bounced off.
It looked like it hit Jackson, didn't it?
I think so.
I tell you, Bartkowski is really hot today because Jackson is double teamed there. They have him inside out. Now watch this pass. He gets good pass protection so he can step up, get everything he wants on the ball. Now watch, there's an inside-outside on Jackson. Goes right through it. Did hit Jackson right in the head.
Right in the face mask.
He looked it right into his face mask.
You're supposed to concentrate.
Bartkowski is really putting the ball where he wants to today.
Luckhurst will not get this one there. 31-13, the score shall remain. 10:20 left on this Astrodome scoreboard. This building is not nearly as impressive as the Superdome, but it's still something to see.
Dear Atari Anonymous, ever since my husband Luno returned from Earth with Asteroids, the new Atari home video game, he and the rest of the family do nothing but play Asteroids. Luno says Asteroids is good practice for his interplanetary life. Tell me, dear Atari Anonymous, with everybody hooked on Asteroids, what on earth is a poor Martian mother to do?
New Atari Asteroids, now available for your home.
Prepare yourself for a little shock. This year, many traditional full-size cars are no longer full-size cars. This one is Marquis from Lincoln Mercury. Marquis gives you all the comfort you need, plus the kind of smooth ride it makes driving a pleasure. Marquis from Lincoln Mercury. Can you see yourself riding in anything less?
Gifford Nielsen has replaced Ken Stabler. He was hurt in the preseason, hit by Leroy Selman of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a separated shoulder. Here's Kenny Stabler. Had a tough day. Nielsen fakes to Campbell. Throws outside, intended for Casper. Over his head. Got to be a little rusty. It took him a lot longer to get well than they thought he might.
Well, you know, going into the season, Gifford Nielsen was going to be the starter for this team. We remember Kenny Stabler had retired. Eddie Biles, the coach, said, that's fine because this is my man, Gifford Nielsen. Then he had the injury in preseason, and then after that, Kenny Stabler came out of retirement, came back and has been the starter since, and that was Nielsen's first pass.
That's Stabler's day, 17 out of 33, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Pat, the Giants are on the end of a 76-yard march against San Francisco. Former Oiler Rob Carpenter is stopped, spins off, goes in. Pat, our Giants are back in it. Back to you now at Houston.
All right, Brent. Atlanta is in control of things here. 31-13.
What's this our Giants?
They're ours because they're closer.
Yours is mine, ours.
Gifford Nielsen steps up. Goes deep. The ball picked up. Pridemore was back there with Kenny Johnson. The ball slipped out of Nielsen's hand.
It did, and it looked like at the end that Ken Burrow got tripped up at the end. Let's see if we can see the start of the pass. We're watching Kenny Burrow here. He's running a post pattern. He has a step there on Johnson, right between Pridemore. The ball is over his head and to the outside, and right there, Pridemore trips up Kenny Burrow.
He really had no chance to make the catch. And there was no flag. So it's second down, 10. The Oilers at their own 49. They need some points, and they need them rather quickly. Nielsen back to throw. Good protection this time. Throws out. Molston has it. First down. Bobby Butler on the coverage for the Falcons, their first-round draft choice.
You know, this is a very important test for Gifford Nielsen. Eddie Biles was saying yesterday that he has to get him in the game and let him play to see how he can play. He said he's a great quarterback with the other things. He knows how to study. He's a good leader. He's this and he's that. But he said, I got to see him play. I don't know if he can play yet.
On first down from the 36-yard line of Atlanta, Gifford Nielsen. Johnson must have seen something. They were going to throw that quick hitch out to Burrow. Johnson came right up on the line of scrimmage and stayed with Burrow.
He did. It was going to be a double zone. He came up and he just stayed with him. It was going to be a screen out to that side. Here's Dave Casper. It looks like he may have something bothering. You see, he has an ice pack under his left leg. It looks like his hamstring. He probably stretched or pulled that left hamstring a little. Maybe a lot.
Stretch it out now. Second down 10 from the Atlanta 36. 8:40 left to play. Here's Nielsen. Under a blitz this time. He gets away from one. He throws down the sideline. Intended for Mike Barber, who couldn't quite get there.
You know, this is a tough time for a young quarterback to come in and have a test when the score is 31-13. It's a fourth quarter. The defense knows you have to pass. They just cover and rush. And I hope this isn't the meaningful test that Ed Biles is talking about giving Gifford Nielsen.
You know, talked about the other attributes that he has. He certainly has the size to go along with it. 6'4", 210. Four-year man from Brigham Young. Well, they put out some quarterbacks, don't they?
They sure do. Mark Wilson is starting in Oakland, and that McMahon who's playing there now is supposed to be something special.
They're talking about Heisman Trophy for him. The Atlanta rush. Can't get to Nielsen. Almost picked off. Blaine Geisen got the hand on it. Knocked it away from the intended receiver. Tom Pridemore had somewhat of a shot. Morris Towns, the offensive right tackle for Houston, is down.
Doesn't it seem that more players get injured when their team is behind, way behind, than it ever does when they're way ahead?
No question about it. Over the years, that's always been true. 31-13 Atlanta.
PCA, this is Army 212, 7 miles northwest, low fuel, heavy weather.
On your 212 radar contact, turn right heading 150.
With a fog-bound helicopter hanging on your every word, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, only that you're good.
Slowly.
Roger.
Overlanding threshold.
Thanks for your help.
Roger.
JCPenney answers the question, how do you copy a classic?
take the same fit, comfort, quality, looks, and Orlan acrylic as the well-known sweater, give it a clever name, the Fox. Then put it on sale just in time for Christmas. The Fox sweater, only $17.99 to $19.99, and only at JCPenney. See you later, alligator.
Next Saturday, get into the spirit as the Kentucky Wildcats set their sights on the national title and challenge the Ohio State Buckeyes in NCAA basketball here on CBS Sports.
That's Dave Casper over behind the Houston bench. By the way, if you missed that score a minute ago, 14-10 49ers over the Giants with just about 10 minutes left to play. Of course, game that's of great interest to the Atlanta fans as well.
They're one of the teams that are tied with the Falcons for a possibility at that fifth wild card position.
Gifford Nielsen hits the pass. He hits Mike Holston, and that'll be enough for a first down. Bob Glazebrook made the tackle. It wasn't very pretty, but it got the job done.
It wasn't very pretty, and how Kenny Johnson missed that, I don't know. We'll see it again, though, but he was right there. Now watch him. He's the right corner on that side. We see Holston come down. Now watch Johnson. He sees the ball in the air. He comes flying in there for the interception. I got it. He missed it with his right hand, and Holston caught it. As close as you can get.
Just about. Holston out to the right side this time. On first down, the handoff by Nielsen is to Earl Campbell. Touchdown. He broke the play. They call it a touchdown. Earl Campbell rolls into the end zone.
You talk about a running back. You hear that horse noise in there, but you talk about a running back smelling the end zone. Earl Campbell smelled the end zone on that play. He wasn't going to be denied. Now, of course, the rule is once the football breaks the plane, it's a touchdown.
Earl Campbell deserves a rest. Tony Frisch will kick out of the hold of Gifford Nielsen.
Let's look at Earl Campbell's run. We're seeing here from the I formation. This is the formation that he runs the best from. Starts to the right, he cuts back, and now he sees that end zone. He makes a little move there. He's not going to be denied. Now the ball right there has to cross the plane. We'll see it here. Let's see if it does. Once it breaks the plane, it's a touchdown.
Ken Johnson is the man who hits him right at the goal line.
Toyota asked to compare their new Longbed sport truck to our Jaguar XJ6. And we laughed.
Granted, the Toyota truck is well appointed. I say, 4-speed automatic overdrive. Handles most nimbly. Still, we laughed. Until Toyota told us we both had to carry a piano.
Feels like a car, works like a truck.
If we had another 200 pounds of wax, how many more candles?
13,003 annually.
And if we cleared another acre for our grapevines, how much more wine do you think?
633 bottles.
A simply amazing machine.
It's a Xerox personal computer.
How much did it cost? Another miracle.
The Xerox 820 personal computer.
Campbell's touchdown.
Now watch this again. The ball has to break the plane. I think the proof will be there because watch the ball in his right hand and watch the chalk fly. You see it right there as he goes down. Watch him put the ball. The ball breaks the plane. All it has to do is touch that white line. You see it touch? You saw the chalk right there. Geez, what a shot that was. That is a touchdown. Terrific.
Tony Frisch to kick off. Tries to lob it over the head of the front lineman. That was Mayberry. He returned the kick.
He tried to bloop it over the front line and between the second line.
Houston Oilers scoring drive directed this time by Gifford Nielsen. He took him 63 yards in 9 plays with 2 minutes and 43 seconds expiring on the clock. Earl Campbell scored the touchdown, an 18-yard run. Bartkowski still the quarterback. 31-20 the score. Plenty of time left. Andrews. Elvin Buffet made the stop.
I know what the Falcons are thinking now. You see, the Oilers need 2 scores in order to tie or to win, and the most important thing to the Falcons right now is to get some first downs and run that time down, and it's 7:07 right now.
And counting. Bartkowski has it 2nd and 7 at the 38. Here's Junior Miller coming in motion at you, and Bartkowski will throw if he has time, and he does it. Mike Stensrud is the first man there, helped out by Darryl Skogstad. That makes it a little tougher.
Tell you one thing, the Falcons can't start their celebration yet. Their defense looked a little soft the last time that the Oilers had the ball, and this football game isn't over, and that's what Lehman Bennett knows right now. He's saying, we have to get some blocking here, man.
Second sack by Houston. Here they come.
Watch it, it was a stunt, and they went for the outside guy, and no one blocked Skogstad as he came right up the middle.
It'll be 3rd and 16 from the 29-yard line. Bartkowski, not shy about throwing, sets up. Between the Lynn Kane, he almost made the one-handed catch. Nothing would have been there anyway. And the Falcons, John James, will have to punt.
And this momentum is changing here. You know, that was close to an interception. Kennard came off, and he darn near had that ball.
Carl Roaches back deep for Houston, and he can really fly. James gets off a dandy. Roaches goes all the way back to his own 27-yard line, gets away from one, and can't shake the second man down, Blaine Geisen. 44-yard punt in a clutch situation by John James. A little scuffle develops on the far side of the field. And so the Oilers will take over, led now by Gifford Nielsen with 5:59 left to play, trailing by 11 points.
You know, baseball's the same in Japan as it is in America. You play 9 innings. 3 strikes and you're out. And after the game, there's nothing like a beer. And when Numa's in town, I treat him to light beer from Miller because it tastes great. Yeah, I know it's less filling, but we drink it because it tastes great. Listen, Numa, it tastes great. You're carrying down! All right, it's less filling.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer. And
Clean down.
Hi, Hal.
Hi, Mr. Mountbatten.
You know, I've got a big family in real life, too. So we need room when we drive. Well, our new Olds Delta 88 is one family car, but didn't forget the family. And this one's a diesel, so it has the same kind of mileage as many smaller cars. Now that's practical. Our new Olds Delta 88. In today's practical world, there's still room to do it with style.
Start your football day with a complete look at all the sports news, college and pro highlights. It's America's most watched pregame show. Sundays, it's the NFL Today.
At Candlestick Park, it is now San Francisco 17, New York 10. Ray Wersching has just kicked a field goal to increase the 49ers margin. Here, it's 31-20, Atlanta over Houston. Nielsen drops to throw. Good protection. Nielsen lobs. Great catch by Mike Barber. No, indeed, this one's not over. Kenny Johnson made the stop.
It's been a long time since Gifford Nielsen has played, but we remember that playoff game against the San Diego Chargers, and he was the starting quarterback and won that one. Look at this throw. It's a layer pass. Now watch, it's like he's looking for something out there. You know, it's funny how you make a change in quarterbacks, and sometimes it just picks up the whole team. It really has nothing to do with the other quarterback, but it's like everyone says, well, we're starting all over again. Let's start from scratch.
Oilers get a break here. Campbell was close enough to a first down for measurement, and with that, they stop the clock. 5:01 left to play. The line of scrimmage, the 32. Oilers now starting to move.
And the clock is starting to move.
Yeah, quickly. A lot of people have departed the Astrodome already. They might be sorry. Nielsen quickly. Looked to Burrow. Almost picked off by Buddy Curry. Knocked it down.
I'll tell you, had Buddy Curry not hit that one, no, Burrow was open and running through the secondary. That could have been awfully close to being a score. That was a great play by Buddy Curry.
He made a great one on Monday night to lock up that contest for the Falcons. They turned it 35 yards for a touchdown. They won by 1. Fakes to Campbell. Has protection. Colson is knocked down at the 10-yard line. Another first down for the Oilers. And they are coming on. At the 11, they mark it.
Look at Gifford Nielsen in there. He really looks calm. Mike Barber is excited on that. And again, as we watch this pass again, from the I formation, little play fake to Earl Campbell. Holds the linebackers a little. You see Kuykendall come up, and he's able to hit it between the linebackers and again in front of the secondary. But the thing that held the linebackers was the play fake.
Again, they're out quickly with the clock running, and now just over 4 minutes left to play. Nielsen sets him down, and here they go. Somebody moved, I think, but they did not call a penalty. Jeff Yates in to stop Earl Campbell, and Campbell just sits there.
You know, as we look at this score, Pat, being 31-20, an 11-point difference, we realize, excuse me, how big that missed extra point was, a block.
That was after the first touchdown by Houston, when Earl Jones blocked Tony Frisch's extra point attempt. Still running, 3:20 left to play. Nielsen now sets his offensive line down again, takes the snap, throws. Oh, he had Burrow. Burrow is just starting to pull away.
Kenny Burroughs complaining that he was held or interfered with, and there is a flag on the play. Kenny Burrow called that one for us, Pat.
That'll give him a first down. Inside the 10, it appears, at about the 8-yard line.
That was,
excuse me, John.
Excuse me, that was Bobby Butler in there, number 23, who was arguing with the officials, so the penalty was probably on him.
Holding, number 37 defense, first down.
37 is the right cornerback, Kenny Johnson.
Butler was arguing for Johnson now.
I believe it'll be first and goal. The ball may be just outside the 10. I'm not sure they can make a first down without scoring. Fake to Campbell. Outside to Adger Armstrong. And Adger struggles down to the 5 before Don Smith takes him down.
Now, we were talking about that missed extra point. Now, instead of needing a field goal and a touchdown, the Oilers need 2 touchdowns. So they have to get a touchdown on this drive, get the ball back, and then get another touchdown because of the extra point being blocked.
It is second and goal. They've got to score. They can't make a first down and buy some time with that. Second and goal at the 5. Clock running. Here's Campbell. Oh, no place to go. Down to about the 3. The Oilers have all of their timeouts. They're going to have to take one pretty soon.
I would think so because, again, they have to think in terms of scoring 2 touchdowns, not just 1. You can't waste all your time trying to score 1 touchdown. That does you no good. They're taking a timeout now.
They wasted a lot of precious seconds by not calling this a little sooner. They were trying, I guess, CBS, John, to get off playoff before the 2-minute warning, but they couldn't get that done either.
Well, you know, half of their team was in the huddle and ready to go, and the other half looked like they were wandering back to the huddle, and they were trying to speed them up, but they didn't get the signal.
Tonight on CBS starts off with 60 Minutes. Then it's Archie Bunker's Place, followed by One Day at a Time, Alice, the Jeffersons, and Trapper John M.D. A great lineup all tonight right here on CBS. You ever seen the Sunday night lineup on CBS?
I love that Sunday night. You know, I always told you that Alice is one of my favorite shows. You know, Mel, he used to be a linebacker.
It shows. 3rd and 4 at the 4. 3rd and goal at the 4, or more correctly. Clock stopped by that timeout. Gifford Nielsen came in and looked very, very good. And replacing Kenny Stabler. How about this one? That was 24-3 at one time. Then 24-5. And now Oakland has taken the lead in the fourth quarter, 25-24. You still a Raider fan?
Oh, yeah. They know how to come back.
You taught them. 3rd down. Nielsen outside quickly, submarine. Parker struggling. He might have gotten a yard out of that. Trying to break loose, and down to tackle him was Bobby Butler. Not very big, but as you could tell by that, strong.
And that was a big, big tackle, because now that gets us to the 2-minute warning. And Houston had a wasted timeout and didn't score.
And remember, the Atlanta lead is 11. A field goal and a touch won't do it. With John Madden, Pat Summerall at the Astrodome in Houston, where the Oilers are making a move. The Falcons lead 31-20. 2 minutes left to play, but the Oilers have it. 4th and goal from the 3. Nielsen asking for quiet. Touchdown! Adger Armstrong. He wasn't throwing the ball to him.
He was throwing it to Kenny Burrow, who was coming across behind him. Adger Armstrong jumped up and got the touchdown.
A one-handed grab by Adger Armstrong. And this one is back in perspective, at least.
Watch this. He knew on 4th down he couldn't take a sack. He goes back. He's looking into the end zone. He tries to throw. There's no one over. He starts to run. He can't. Now watch. He's throwing to Kenny Burrow. Adger Armstrong jumps right up in front of him and catches it with one hand.
Great catch by Armstrong. And here is Tony Frisch to try the extra point with Gifford Nielsen holding. Frisch hits it. And the score now goes to 31-27. Tony Frisch puts him 1 point closer. Adger Armstrong's first NFL touchdown.
Look at that difference now. Instead of being a 3-point difference, it's a 4-point difference. When that extra point was